Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage right throughout Australia of the big 1981 League Grand Final here in South Australia. It promises to be an excellent game of football. Port Adelaide versus Glenelg, a sellout, over 50,000 people here, and the scene set for what promises to be, as I made mention, a great grand final. With me at the moment is the man who coached the Tigers, who are participating in this year's grand final for 10 years, coached the state side for 8 years, and now, of course, is the present coach of the West Adelaide Football Club here in South Australia, Neil Kerley. Kells, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ken.
Kells, are you surprised that Glenelg have left Colin Anderson out of their 20?
Well, there's always players that are unlucky to miss selection. I thought Colin may have been preferred because of his experience.
Right.
And in particular because of the most difficult conditions today. I don't think the viewers are going to be aware of how difficult it's going to be to play good, skillful football. It's a very, very strong wind blowing from the south.
Right.
It's going to congest the ball at one end of the ground for long periods of time, and in particular over in the southern pocket. High marking is going to be very difficult indeed, and we're going to see guts, courage and endeavour take over from skill and good ball movement, and that I think is going to be a great leveller.
Going back to the last time they met, Kells, in the second semi-final, Port Adelaide beat the Tigers off Football Park. Glenelg last week in the prelim final came back with a strong game against Norwood. Do you think their aggression and attack on the ball against Norwood was great, good enough for the day?
Oh yes, it was very good. I think it's the type of game the Glenelg players and supporters were looking for. They were a little bit concerned after that game against Port Adelaide. Port played very well, and I think Glenelg will be ready. They won't come off any ball today, you can rest assured of that.
Well, it certainly will be a tough game. Let's now join David Darcy in the Tigers locker room as he talks to their coach, Johnny Halbert.
John Halbert, it's just after 2 o'clock now. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm very nervous, David, because the time has come when we have to see whether we're able to meet the challenge, and I guess anyone in this sort of predicament, in this sort of situation, would feel nervous, and that's exactly as I feel, although at the same time I feel confident that the boys, if they're prepared to work at it, and if they're prepared to play the sort of football that they've played during the season, that they can be good enough to win today.
Comments there from the coach of the Tigers, Johnny Halbert. And Kells, you've been in that same position many, many times. What will be going through his mind at the moment, Johnny Halbert?
Well, there'll be a lot of things going through his mind. His tummy will be turning over at a much faster rate than it normally does. It's a position where you can't explain to people that haven't been there. You're tense, you're going over last-minute plans, you're hoping you've covered every area, you're hoping you've covered every opposition player, you're hoping that you've done your homework well, and of course you're hoping that you've prepared your side physically and mentally good enough to win a grand final, and the best club's going to win, and I think the conditions are going to favour Port Adelaide.
Well, they certainly are. They're a tough side. They're a great side of tradition. In fact, this is their 30th appearance in a grand final since 1931. Let's now go to Ian Day in the Port Adelaide dressing rooms as he talks to their coach, Johnny Cahill.
John Cahill, 5 grand finals in 6 seasons as coach. What does a grand final coach think about Saturday mornings?
Well, it can either be the worst or the best day of the lot, Ian. Saturday mornings, I think that when I drive past Football Park and I see a lot of supporters going to the Oval, the fear I have is failure, that I will let all these supporters down that have come from a long way. particularly anywhere in South Australia, just to see the game. And I see old people going to the football, I see young kids, and it's a horrible fear that you could lose a grand final. That's what I think about most.
Never seen a coach look young yet.
I think Johnny Cahill looks old there, Kels.
I've never seen a coach look young on grand final day yet. Certainly it does worry you.
Looking at some of the duels, of course, the one of the most important one, Johnson in ruck for Port Adelaide, Kerry in ruck for the Tigers.
If the conditions had been good, such as no wind, I would have said Johnson had a tremendous advantage because of his leaping ability and his pace. I think now the conditions are going to bring Carey right into the game. He's a master at the bodywork of ruck play. He's got a very alert brain. He's got one of the quickest football brains in football today. And I think these conditions are going to suit Carey in particular. But unfortunately, he's the only player that I can see the conditions are going to suit.
What about the centre line duel? On the last occasion they met in the second semi-final, Port Adelaide controlled the centre. That's an important one for the Bays. Last week, David Marshall early in the game, Paul Weston and Peter Brown later in the game got into it. That's an important clash, Kels.
It is. The reason the Port Adelaide players controlled the centre last time was because their defence was in control. Glenelg couldn't find a forward that was capable of winning the ball and setting up play. Port Adelaide defenders were on top and were able to dictate the way the ball came out of defence and find their centre line players clear. And that made it very easy, whereas the Glenelg centre line players had to really struggle.
Right, well, of course, two important people today are the officiating umpires, Bobby Schofield and Peter Mead. Umpires something like 550 games between them. And there they are at the moment. Bobby Schofield, 242 games. Peter Mead today, umpiring 248. Peter Mead on the right, doing a few calisthenics there. And, of course, he's a former Port Adelaide player, and that's Bobby Schofield.
Yes, well, those boys, you've been there, Ken, you know what it's like. They'll be very nervous too.
It's a tough moment, Kels.
And no doubt, of course, Bobby will take the opening bounce. I wouldn't think Peter would. He's not renowned for his good ball bouncing, and I would say Bob Schofield will be a Monty to open up bouncing the ball.
I tell you what, that first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, Kels, from an umpire's point of view, is hard, particularly a grand final. You're looking for that good free kick to set the pattern. You really are.
See, why do you look for the good free kick?
Well, because it's bound to happen in a grand final.
Doesn't matter.
Players are tight, they're tense, and they like to hit the body hard. If you can pay that good free kick, not make it up, but pay the good free kick, it's very, very important.
But they pay them in the first 10 minutes, they let them go in the second quarter.
Well,
pay them.
It certainly will be a very, very interesting game. And just looking at some of the other duels, Ebert and Weston in the middle.
Well, two of the best players this state's seen for many, many years. Both very talented, both extremely fit. Weston, I think, works harder, and I think he's got to work harder for his ball because Russell, I'm certain, gets more help from his teammates. Ebert, I think's over his best, but he's still a very damaging player. Weston, of course, is in top form and coming up to the best he could possibly give. That'll be a tremendous duel. They'll both get a lot of kicks and handle the ball. I favour Weston to win that position because I think he reads the ball a bit better coming off the pack.
Right, let's go into the Port Adelaide rooms and just feel the tension of the players. And there they are, Paul Belton, Russell Ebert. Had a tremendous season with the ball now, Curl, since he's been moved back to the pivot.
Well, Ebert, of course, has dominated the centre for Port Adelaide for a number of years, particularly in minor rounds. He hasn't been one of the big major round winners. You can see they're very relaxed, very cool.
David Granger there, centre half forward. Tell you what, Curls, it'll be strong, hard stuff with David Granger today. There he is.
Well, to a degree. I'm a little disappointed in some of David's work. I don't think when the ball's going to be won in a 50-50 issue, he stays there long enough. But his opponent knows he's always there. They look very relaxed, Port Adelaide. Young Belton there is with the beard who has emerged as a very good rover since moved from the wing onto the ball. He'll be a damaging player, reads the ball well, and is very disciplined. Chris Nat, of course, the interchange ruckman there on our left, is it, or right?
That's right, on our left.
Hello, is that Daryl Cahill?
Was Daryl Cahill changed then?
Not stripped.
That's interesting. So I just wonder.
But he's always a late changer. Remember that. Daryl doesn't get changed till about 2 o'clock. So,
is that right?
Yeah, he's notorious for that.
What about the duels up forward? Look at Coolman on Evans. Now, the last time they met, of course, Evans kicked 6.
Yes. Once again, we go to conditions, and his marking is going to be affected by the wind. Coolman, all-Australian full-back, has got the height, experience, and the strength to beat Evans. If he can't hold him to 4 goals, well, then the Bays are in trouble. I'll be very surprised if Evans kicks more than 3 today. I think he'll be limited to that because I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Well, it certainly will be interesting. Let's now go to the first of the big entertainment at Football Park Grand Final Day. The crowd have been entertained by Thomas Edmonds.
Fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Edmonds. Well, Kells, there's nothing better than that grand final day. Thomas Edmonds, a South Australian-born singer. Great stuff. Stirring.
Yes, that would leave a lump in a lot of people's throats out there. Fantastic.
It certainly would. What about the young players in the Bayside, Curls? Of course, you've got Painter, we've got McGuinness, you've got McDermott. How will they handle the pressure grand final?
Well, both sides have got young players. If you look at Port Adelaide, they've got 2 17-year-olds, namely in Hughes and possibly Leslie, and also young Bradley.
Bradley, yeah.
There's 3 17-year-old boys there playing their first finals, so they'll be on edge, and no doubt the Glenelg boys will be too. They're all on edge.
Right.
But I think it leaves them the moment they hit the ground. I know, well, it did me when I was playing. The moment you hit the turf, you felt good. There's a little bit of nervousness early, a little bit of fumbling, a bit of pressure. Tackling's harder. You sort of make that bad ball handling mistake, which you worry about for a while, but they'll settle down.
Actually, that's the placing of the sides as we see them, and I just wonder whether Johnny McFarlane, who last week in the prelim final did a tremendous job on Michael Ace, whether he'll be given a job today by Johnny Howard to look after Abernethy, Kills.
Well, he may. That's something John Halbert's got to work out, the Glenelg coach, whether he feels that he should put a player as a tag. Abernethy's a very hard player to tag, and he's an extremely fit and quick player. And, well, who knows? He may not.
What about the centre-half-back, centre-half forward duel? Greg Phillips, strong body work. Stephen Cunningham, only just turned 18 years of age.
Phillips will win that position. He's too good a player. He's an all-Australian centre-half-back, the present one, and he's one of the best centre-half-backs in Australia. There's no doubt about that, and he'll win that position.
Well, Kells, who are you going for?
I'm going for Port Adelaide. I don't want to go for Port Adelaide. My heart's with Glenelg, as you know, but I'm selecting Port Adelaide because I think they'll handle the conditions a little better. I think their back up and run and busting style will just put Glenelg off their game.
Well, the game's about to start. Let's now take you to our commentators, Ian Day, David Darcy, Peter Marker for the big 1981 League Grand Final.
Thank you, KG. Good afternoon, everybody. With me in the commentary box, former VFL Footscray player and South Adelaide captain coach David Darcy. David, a great scene.
Oh, magnificent, Ian. It's just great to be at Football Park this afternoon. A capacity crowd, 50,000, and conditions didn't look good early this morning, but gee, they've brightened up to a great day. As Neil Kerley said there before to Ken, there is a fairly strong southwesterly blowing. Peter Marker, which is probably worth about 3 or 4 goals to the side, kicking to the northern end of Football Park, but it is a little choppy and a little cross.
Certainly is, David, and particularly if the ball gets bogged down in that pocket. Port Adelaide side coming under the ground now. Good side end, eh?
It's a magnificent spectacle, Peter Marker. Incidentally, those comments coming from the former captain of South Australia and also Glenelg, Peter Marker. And it's a magnificent scene as the black and white balloon head towards the skies, thousands of them, a capacity crowd of, I would think, in the vicinity of 50,000 people. That's the number of seats that was sold, or standing room that was sold. And the Port Adelaide players have hit the turf for the benefit of interstate viewers. They are 7 to 10 on favourites to take out the flag in 1981. And Glenelg, Peter Marker's old team, they are 14 to 10. Peter, last night, here come the Bays now. Peter, last night you tipped against your old side. Have you any reason to change your mind?
Not yet, Ian. I think the weather conditions are going to be a great leveller here, as Neil Kerley has already said. But no, I go for Port Adelaide, but not with a great deal of confidence. I think it's going to be a close one.
Well, we'll soon know as the two teams out on the ground doing the warming up. Peter, conditions are difficult in as much that we've got a strong southwesterly breeze, as Neil Kerley mentioned, that is going to make life difficult for the players. Can you see defensive tactics controlling the afternoon?
I can. I think it will be a battle of defences, Ian, and of course goals are at a premium at this lakeside position that we have down here on the beach at West Lakes. The wind comes in around today it's coming in at the southern end of that grandstand there, and it's swirling around in a sort of a centralising sort of a way, and it swirls around and it makes that ball very, very hard to control.
There's the scene from the Channel 9 helicopter. David Darcy, well, you come from Victoria, you're domiciled now in South Australia, but you must be caught up with the magnificence of the day.
Oh, it's fantastic, Ian. It's a great sight, no matter where the grand final is. It was a magnificent grand final in the VFL last week. But we've got the makings here today. 2 great sides. Port Adelaide steeped in tradition. Glenelg playing their 7th grand final today in 12 years. Unfortunately for the club, they've only managed 1 grand final win over those years, and that was in 1973. And Peter Marker, our co-commentator, was captain of that side, and he's got a big grin on his face at the moment. But it's 2 great sides. Glenelg have done everything right throughout the minor round. Came into the finals with not much success and were beaten by Port Adelaide in that second semi-final, but fought back courageously last week in a great win over Nord and have earned their right to meet Port Adelaide in the 1981 grand final. Ian, I'm anticipating a great day. The only problem is, and you were talking about that win a moment ago, is that dead pocket to the right, to the left of our screen, into the right forward pocket. There'll be a lot of congestion over there because the wind's blowing directly into that pocket. That's the dead pocket, the defensive pocket, and both back lines will be going to that side.
We noticed during the telecast of the reserves, or the game of the reserves, David, that there are only 13 goals kicked for the whole game, but most of the play was congregated around that outer corner, that northeastern corner, which is contributed to by that breeze, a very fresh breeze coming in from the southwest. Peter, what do you reckon it's worth, the breeze?
It's probably worth 3 or 4. There's John Halbert, the coach of the Glenelg side, who was interviewed just a little while ago. He won the Magarey medal here in 1960, played with Sturt, and he's been coaching the Bays for 3 years. A big day for John Halbert, but in answer to your question, Ian, I think possibly 3 or 4, not much more.
Well, the breeze is estimated by the Weather Bureau at 20 knots, and at least it's going to be consistent during the afternoon. And as we see the 2 umpires come across now to supervise the toss, the 2 umpires for this afternoon's clash, Bob Schofield in your screen at the moment, and Sir James Hardy there just about to toss, and Peter Mead in the background there, and Sir James, of course, well known in the yachting field, and he's going to come across, or when the 2 captains come across, he will toss.
Also known, Ian, for his great South Australian wines, of course.
Peter, I thought you may, David, I thought you may get that in as proprietor of the Fountain Hotel. Should be worth a free case on Monday morning. Sir James Hardy. And doesn't he come from a great family? Brian Cunningham, the captain of the Port Adelaide side, 29 years of age, been a great player for Port Adelaide over the years. And his counterpart, the captain of Glenelg, Paul Weston, Peter Marker. You know a lot about Paul. You were at the club when he was a junior. Yes, he started in 1973 at the age of 16, and both players, both captains, are being wooed at the moment by Kevin Sheedy from the Essendon Football Club in Melbourne. Kevin's here, of course, to see the game today, and had a chat with him last night. He reckons he knows the name and the credentials of every league footballer in Australia. Not a bad memory. Well, there's the toss. Pretty important one too, although it's not going to be the same as last week, where there it is. Port Adelaide have got it. The toss last week virtually decided who won the game. But as I said, the Bureau has said the breeze will be constant throughout the afternoon. But Peter Marker, how important was that toss for Port Adelaide? I think it's an important one to win, Ian, because in finals it is a must to get a good start. There is nothing worse than chasing 3 or 4 goals, particularly in midway through the first quarter. You must start well, and of course, gee, if the Bays were able to kick a couple against the breeze, that's also going to be a tremendous advantage. We welcome GTV 9 from Melbourne to our direct telecast of the South Australian 1981 Grand Final for the benefit of the uninitiated. The black and white, known as the Magpies, is Port Adelaide. The Magpies, very much like Collingwood in the VFL, and the yellow and black strip is that of the Bays, or Glenelg, known as the Bays because their home ground and their territory is on the Glenelg Bay. And I did mention a moment ago that Glenelg have played in 7 grand finals now in 12 years. Well, of course, Port Adelaide are in line for their 3rd successive premierships. They've won. There's John Halbert, coach of Glenelg side, very tense, very nervous at the moment. Port Adelaide in line for their 3rd premiership, having won the last 2. An electric crowd here at Football Park, 50,000 people, tremendous scene. The weather's improved, it's fine, and here it is, the national anthem. Ebert, winner of the prestigious Magarey Medal Award on 4 occasions, playing centre for Port Adelaide, one of the older players on the turf, 32 years of age, everything in readiness. The 1981 Grand Final, Port Adelaide versus Glenelg, capacity crowd. Port has won the toss. Carey against Johnson, Cunningham in there. Johnson can't get a kick away, and the umpire has awarded a free kick to go the way of Port Adelaide, taken by captain Brian Cunningham, who boots them to the half-forward line. Giving chase out there, Abernethy. The bounce was a bad one. Martin on the half-forward line, can't pick it up. Socket off the ground there by David Holst of Glenelg, but umpire Peter Mead has awarded a free kick plus 15 metres to Tony Martin. Martin, almost within kicking distance, fires up towards Evans. Philippa's on, the smother, Belton at the bottom of the pack, tries to get it out. Leo under pressure, working hard for the ball. Is Craig, can't get it clear. Forced out of play in the full forward left pocket, and it was Craig Bradley who came through, couldn't get it at the first grab, and a throw in the full forward left pocket. Carey gets the tap taken by Cahill, renowned for kicking goals early in the grand final. Bounce awkward, Caldwell there, slips the handball over to Corman, and the Bays are out of trouble. Into the open spaces in the centre of the ground. Ebert's going to be first to it. Cleverly taps it forward. Recovers, steadies, back to half forward. Belton drops a mark. Picked up by Cahill, screwed around the corner. Evans in front.
but Coleman, favoured by the bounce, again gets clear. His long handball finds Carey, all 6'5" of him. Away go the Bays towards centre wing. McFarlane up against Tony Giles, can't complete the mark, and the ball will be thrown in centre wing.
Pretty good start to the final. The umpire gave 2 frees early to set the pattern, but both teams look extremely good.
Peter Carey. Russell Johnson. Carey the tap. Corns left it behind. Ebert again in the action. Started brilliantly. Left foot kick looks for Evans from behind. Can't mark. Holst for the crumbs at the back of the pack. Threads out the handball. 2 Bay players there. It's Pate playing centre half back today that takes the ball. His kick close to the line. In play. Weston can't mark. Carey dishes it out in the direction of McFarlane. He gets a push in the back. Goes unnoticed by the umpire, and again there'll be a throw-in. We've been playing for 2 minutes and still no score.
Johnson against Carey at the throw-in. Johnson's tap finds Marshall. Couldn't handle the situation. Liu Cunningham over the top of that player, and the umpire will come in and bounce.
One of the younger players there, Ian Day, Johnny Painter, number 11 for Glenelg. First touch of a ball in a grand final, and he dropped it. That's what happens with nerves.
Johnson against Carey. Johnson put the hand on Carey's shoulder, and the Bay ruckman to get a free kick, nicknamed Super Carey. And what a magnificent player he's been for the Bays over the years. Peter Carey from half-back flank, short to the lead of Marshall, put him under pressure, recovers well. Corns, finally taken away by Painter to the half-forward line. McFarlane trying to crash through Corns, but leaves the football behind. Painter in again, wobbles one up towards full forward, Copping in front, gets his hands to it. The Bays with a chance now. Vader in there. At the bottom of the pack, Hughes defending. Can't get the ball clear. Weston wants it out. Copping through. Over the top goes Clifford. Looking for a holding the ball decision, but the umpire says no and will come in and bounce the ball 35 metres out in front of the Bay goal.
Centre half forward for the Bay. Vader and Johnson. Johnson the tap forward. Kernaghan. McFarlane there, also Ebert. Finally, Port get the ball clear, back towards centre wing. Race for Granger, sets up nicely for him. A little bit of nerves and a fumble, slips it back to Abernethy. From centre wing, Abernethy gets grounded behind play. His kick's gone out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a penalty free kick to the Bays to be taken by their back pocket player, Jim Lahu. Lahu, who came back into the Glenelg side last week after being omitted from the second semi-final and performed well in the back pocket. His kick towards centre half forward, looking for McDermott. Kernaghan for the crumbs. Greg Phillips in there for Port Adelaide. Players stack up, and there'll be another bounce at centre half forward for Glenelg.
Glenelg going against the breeze, but grandstand side, they're getting plenty of distance against it.
Bounce down. Kernaghan goes for the ruck, but it's knocked by Johnson. Kicked by Ebert. Not a good one. Eckerman runs the gauntlet, does it well. Fires long to the half forward line. Belton back there. Liu, the big fist away. One-on-one back there. Coleman against Evans. And the Bay full back gets it out well in front of the fast-moving Seabohm. Chased by Belton, but they career across the line for a throw-in 40 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal. A huge crowd here at Football Park. A sellout. No score in the first 5 minutes of the grand final. Tapped down. Trying to get through there was Bradley. Gone for holding the ball. The youngster in only 17 years of age. And the free kick goes to Caldwell, who furthers the ball along the outer side. A nice-looking kick. Corns up at the back, but in the front, the mark may have been paid to the Bay player or not. Kernaghan. The umpire has ruled out of bounds, outer side. Throw in. Johnson, 25. Carey is 5. Carey with strength grabs it. Looks for Painter, but pushes it out too far. Ruled a throw. And the free kick will go the way of the Port Adelaide ruckman, Russell Johnson.
5 minutes gone and still no score as Johnson puts the Maggies into attack, looks for Evans, can't mark it. Bradley gets the crumbs, needs support, goes to the line, swings with his left foot. Awkward bounce for Belton, favours Lahu. He's going to be run down by Cahill. Loses it, Cahill slips it to Belton. Here's the goal. No, he's hit the post. Paul Belton running into the open goal from only 10 metres out. And he's banged it straight into the woodwork. The first score is on the board. It's a point to Port Adelaide, and it took 5 minutes and 50 seconds.
A big mistake from an experienced player. He had Evans in the square to handball too, but ignored him.
Coleman's kick in is good. Well taken by Johnson over the top of the Carey. It's going to be a great encounter between those two. 15-metre penalty. Johnson still not confident of making the distance. On loan from the VFL, the kick off the line, and it's gone through for 1 point to Port Adelaide. It's taken them 6 minutes to get 2 points with the breeze. Peter Marker.
Yeah, Russell Johnson, the player you mentioned, has had a tremendous year with Port Adelaide, and he started well. He's on top of Carey at the moment.
Keith Coleman kicks to the outer side, and it's covered about 50 metres into the breeze. Fisted on by Carey. Kernaghan and Phillips come down to meet it, but Corns it is that intercepts. Playing on the ball today, slips it over to Pater. The short pass looks for Copping in front of Warren. Pats it back cleverly to Corns. Good football as the Bays go forward into the pocket, but there's a steadying mark in defence taken by Hughes. Hughes to Warren. Port Adelaide back to the centre of the ground. Belton the opportunity. Intercepting, however, was Peter Brown. Snared by Johnson for Clifford. Port Adelaide into attack now. Clifford got down behind play, but there's a good mark in defence by Keith Coleman. He's certainly having the better of Tim Evans in these opening minutes. Evans, who's kicked 96 goals so far this season for Port Adelaide, has Coleman kicked to centre wing, and there's a magnificent mark to Kernaghan. Kernaghan to McFarlane. McFarlane chips in short, looking for Copping. It's off hands to McDermott. A nervous kick forward, finds Brady. He's in trouble. Loses the ball to Eckerman. Eckerman sweeps it out wide. Warren tapping it in front of him, being well shepherded by Hoffner. Gets a kick to the open centre wing. McFarlane leaves it behind. Abernethy, brilliantly done to Belton. Scooped it up. Belton gets around Pate, threads out the handball. Here's a great opportunity for Clifford. Puts it in long and high into the pocket, looking for Evans. At the back, he's marked it. Oh, he's got it. Tim Evans, after being outpointed in the first 5 or 6 minutes, has picked up a valuable mark for Port Adelaide in the pocket, just 10 metres out, but all on a very, very acute angle. Evans, as I said, with 96 to his credit for the season. Deliberating, shoots with the drop punt. The umpire runs to his left, he's offline. The third minor score to Port Adelaide.
Good movement, Port Adelaide. Belton got it to Clifford, former Collingwood player. His kick was long, and Evans, who's been destroyed by Coleman up till now, got in a good position, took it on the chest, but the angle was too great for him. He couldn't score. Port Adelaide haven't started well. 3 points in the first 9 minutes.
Gee, Peter, the Bays missed a valuable opportunity down the other end when they're into that open goal, but back with Port Adelaide. Kinnear hooks high towards full forward. One-on-one again. Evans over the top. Coleman in front. And the umpire rules a throw-in adjacent to the behind post.
Unlike a lot of full forwards, Ian, Tim Evans prefers to play from behind, and Keith Coleman's an All-Australian fullback, and he's 6'3½", so that's going to be difficult to score on him.
Granger against Carey. Granger in front, straight to Seabohm. Jams it onto his boot quickly towards the half-back, Frank Johnson. Ebert back there with Corns, shrugs the tackle, chips out the pass into the pocket, and Kinnear takes the ball. Maybe too far out to score. The breeze coming in from his left to right. He centres the ball towards the goal square. Cahill at the back of the pack. Carey, big mark in the middle of the pack. And the big fella lumbers off short. Finds his skipper in Paul Weston inside the half-back line. Weston goes again short, this time to Painter. Can't scoop it up on the half volley. Recovers well. Corns concedes ground, but then finally boots to the half-forward line, looking for Kernaghan. Warren back there appeared to drop the ball. Kernaghan, David Holt. Across the half-forward line, go the Bays, towards McDermott, right there with him, Eckerman. Eckerman gets the ball out now. Tony Martin, not a good handball, got to go and get it himself. Fires a wild one towards centre wing, and there it's taken by Kim Kinnear.
Kim Kinnear wants to have a go at Corns. Better be careful. Umpire Schofield comes in to separate them. Kinnear gets on with the game and kicks it to centre half forward. Pate from behind, gets fist the ball. After it he goes again, does battle on the ground with Clifford. Umpire Mead comes in, a line ball decision, and he'll bounce.
Port Adelaide getting nowhere. This breeze is probably worth 3, and they've only got 3 points at this stage.
Carey up again, Pate was flat-footed, Belton Mossett gave it to Ebert, he chips in towards goal, it's going to get the distance. That's a goal. Ebert controlling the game in the middle at the moment, boots his first. It's the Magpies first also. They're 1-3. They played almost 11 minutes. Glenelg, no score.
Just when you say they're getting nowhere, Port Adelaide come into it, and Russell Ebert playing in the middle. He started well. Had a year with North Melbourne, of course, with Ron Barassi. Kick number 4, goal number 1. Port Adelaide 9 points. The Bays yet to score. Clifford took off like a man possessed. Kicked a 50-metre goal, and you can see there that Tim Evans is over the line. Yes, the goal umpire is right. It's a goal. 2-3 Port. Glenelg yet to score.
Umpire Mead gets proceedings underway again. Marshall and Clifford vie for the ball. Pate taps it out cleverly to Weston. He's clear, slips it to Pater. Glenelg go forward. Copping in front of Warren. Warren gets there late to get it clear. Peter Brown and Kinnear do battle. Neither can handle it. Kernaghan, it's Copping rather on the bottom of that pack. Got it out to Weston. Weston to Vader. Vader's hurry kick finds Kernaghan. He's around. Shoots in towards goal. Painter over his shoulder goes after it, but the line's too close. And the ball is out of play in the left forward pocket for Glenelg. Port Adelaide 2-3-15, leading Glenelg no score, and they've been playing for almost 13 minutes of the first quarter. Throw in about 20 metres around from the Glenelg goal. Eckerman off his knees. Kernaghan goes in hard, can't get it clear, and umpire Schofield will bounce once more.
No doubt that you can score against this win. Glenelg have been forward 4 times now. They should have already kicked one.
John Halbert, the coach of Glenelg, as Johnson gets the tap, taken by Pater. However, his long handball is a wild one. Lenny Warren gathers and runs it over the line, and again a throw-in, this time about 30 metres around from the Glenelg goal. There no score, Port Adelaide are 2-3. Vader, Weston from behind. It lobs in the hand of Belton, threads a handball and does it well to Eckerman. Port Adelaide get out of trouble as Eckerman's high kick is close to the line. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. A penalty free kick to be taken by John McFarlane. His kick wobbles towards half forward, but it's Port Adelaide in the way again. Tim Kinnear. Kinnear at half back. The breeze blowing over his left shoulder as he kicks towards half forward. Pate from behind again goes to the punch clear to Caldwell. Caldwell back to McFarlane, but puts him under the hammer. In goes Granger, buttering up. Wants support now. Gets it in the form of Ebert. Over the top handball by Ebert to Bradley. He's in trouble. Loses it. McFarlane gets a nudge in the back and he'll take the free kick. McFarlane's at half back. And the Bays in a little bit of trouble as Port Adelaide come back at them strongly. Leading 2-3 to Glenelg's no score.
McFarlane directs play towards centre wing. Weston the leaper at the back of the pack. Kinnear. Grubbers one away. Phillips has his first touch. Captain Brian Cunningham around towards the half-forward line. Liu thumps away. Abernethy can't pick it up. Well done the Bay defence there through McFarlane. But finally Caldwell comes away. Pushes the ball towards the half-forward line. Almost a mark there. Robbie Walder pushes the ball out in front of him. Supported now by Holst as the Bays go over the half-forward line. Called to play on. Walder puts a high one in. Getting back, Copping. Looking for the ball. He's done it. Warren too late on the scene, and Stephen Copping has taken the mark 35 metres out. The angle is most acute. A very stiff breeze coming into his face, but the first real opportunity for the Bays to score. Copping's drop punt underway. It's coming back. Oh, what a magical kick! A goal! Brilliantly done, Stephen Copping. The Bays first. They trail Port Adelaide 2-3.
What an important goal, and Robbie Walder, number 7, the full forward for the Bays, got it to him. Copping eyes on the ball. He wasn't going to drop that. The spoil came too late. I don't know if it was aimed at the ball or not, but it didn't hit it. Copping kick, truly. Glenelg 1 goal, Port 2-3.
Centre bounce once more. Carey and Johnson. Carey the tap forward again. Players stack up. Umpire Mead forced to bounce again. 15 minutes gone. The lead to Port Adelaide is 9 points. From the bounce, Johnson taps it forward to Granger. Gets the handball over the top in the direction of Bradley. Port Adelaide player in Darryl Cahill met very heavily at the bottom of the pack. Gets to his feet okay and gives the ball to Schofield. In fact, it's umpire Peter Mead. The 2 umpires officiating today are Mead and Schofield. At the bounce, Ebert again with a handball over the top. Glenelg get cleared from Weston. Gives Kernaghan the opportunity at centre half forward. Beaten with the ball, however, by Hoffner. Beautifully done by the Magpie fullback. At centre wing, gets a kick forward. All corners, grand corners. But clearly to umpire Mead that there is no infringement. Play goes on the other end. Cunningham chips in short. Almost a miraculous mark to Cahill. Gets to his feet, can't get clear. In comes Holtz for the Bays. He's in trouble. Gets a kick straight up in the air. Seabourn tries to get it clear. Does so to Marshall. Bays Marshall kicks wide. Belton the only player within 30 metres of it. The ball's going to stay in play at half forward. Belton picks up plenty of time to steady. Bangs it back to the pocket. Darryl Cahill from behind. Flew. Couldn't take it. Marshall through the legs of Holst. The set upon now by Cunningham. Cunningham in the pocket for Port Adelaide. Gets it forward. and Keith Coleman. The Glenelg fullback takes it over the line, and a rush point to Port Adelaide. They're 2-4. Glenelg are 1 goal.
Getting a little dark here at Football Park. In fact, the rain's starting to come down. Ebert at the back of the pack whips out a long handball looking for Cunningham. In comes Weston, tackles that player, and he's been pinged for holding the ball. Peter Brown, another VFL player. In fact, he's flying to Adelaide each week to play from Victoria, but he's had to give the ball back to his skipper in Paul Weston. Weston from the full-back pocket, covering plenty of ground this afternoon. He's in midfield. The back is Abernethy, gets the handball away. Ebert just about keeps it in play. The umpire rules not, and it's a throw-in out of side. 18 minutes into the first quarter, Port Adelaide 2-4. Glenelg is a goal. Johnson and Carey comes, but it's Abernethy back there. The tackle put on by Brown. Abernethy fumbles, a throw-in centre wing.
2-4 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 1 goal. The difference is 10 points. At the throw-in, Belton takes it, kicks Port Adelaide towards centre half forward. All Granger went extremely high, couldn't complete the mark. On the ground, here's a chance for Port Adelaide. Tony Martin fires in towards goal. Just offline, however. Another minor score to the Maggies. They're 2-5, leading Glenelg 1 goal.
Port Adelaide missing goals. They should kick. Tony Martin, a player from the Melbourne Football Club, should have kicked that one. No pressure at all. Port Adelaide 2-5, Glenelg 1 goal.
The Bay custodian, Keith Coleman, kicks long to the outer side. Cahill, who's had a fine first quarter in the action. The tackle is heavy on him by Brown. He wins a free kick. It turns out to be a handball. Ebert to Clifford is good football as the rain tumbles down here at Football Park. Up go the umbrellas. Clifford's 5th kick. Oh, a towering torpedo putt. That's a massive kick. Oh, what a kick! A goal, his second. Must have gone 65 metres. And Port Adelaide moved to 3-5 to the Bay's goal.
Amazing kick, Clifford. The ball is still dry. It's only just started raining, and he kicked that out of sight. The umpire watched it go straight over the head. Port Adelaide 3-5, Glenelg 1 goal.
Umpire Schofield to put the ball down again. Carey against Johnson. Carey gets the tap away. Thumped by Phillips out towards centre wing. It was a great thump, however. Kinnear again down the outer side, puts a long one in, but it's going to be short of Phillips and also Coleman. It's well taken by Jim Liu in defence. Evans never got started for that one. He decided not to chase it. Liu's defending kick is to the outer side. Ebert and Weston. And the ball is thumped out of play. Half forward right flank, 4-5 Port Adelaide, a goal Glenelg.
Port Adelaide on top across centre. Tony Martin and Kinnear doing tremendous work on the wings.
Carey, a clever tap to Pater towards centre wing. A chance now for Kernaghan. Sockers the ball off the ground and puts it out of play on the Bay half forward left flank. The rain has stopped. Looks like it's clearing away from Football Park now. Hopefully the sun will come out. Kernaghan and Weston towards Cunningham. Scoops the ball looking for Kinnear, but the ball once more out of play on the outer side.
Port Adelaide a little tardy in their start. Took some 10 minutes to get their first goal on the board. Glenelg, of course, has kicked one into this breeze, and Port since that time have added 3 goals, 5. They lead by 17 points at the moment as Glenelg go forward. Holst overruns the ball. Coming through for Port Adelaide is Phillips. Met strongly, but gets a kick away. McFarlane there with Abernethy. The bounce favours McFarlane. He gets tripped. Play called on, however. In goes Daryl Cahill for the Maggies. Neither player can get it clear, and umpire Schofield will bounce at centre half forward for Port Adelaide. Chris Nat warming up on the sideline for the Maggies. He will come off the interchange bench to change with Russell Johnson in ruck. But it's Carey that got the tap forward. Left behind by Seabone. Pater sockers off the ground. Ebert gets it out wide and out of play once more. In that dead pocket, we nominated that's the pocket where most of the play would be today. It is the defensive pocket at Football Park. And there's Chris Nat, who I mentioned moments ago. He'll be in the action in just a moment to replace Johnson. The kick forward by Glenelg again has gone out of bounds on that outer side.
Glenelg doing a pretty good job. The breeze would have to be 3 or 4, and at the moment they're about 4 behind. So that's probably about equal at this stage.
Kernaghan towards the half-forward line. Holst almost. Clifford back in defence. Seeks Phillips to run the ball out of play. Warren in turn Hoffner. And the Flyers over centre line, kicks a mammoth kick in towards full forward. Evans, Coleman back there, but neither can get their hands to it, and the ball runs out of bounds in the full forward left pocket. Port Adelaide coach John Cahill and reserves coach Brian Fairclough.
Chris Nat coming onto the ground for Port Adelaide, and Peter Hoffner, who tore down from fullback, would be one of the quickest players here.
Granger looking for the free kick. The umpire unsympathetic and will come in and bounce as umpire Schofield has awarded a free kick against Granger for using Peter Carey as a doormat. Weston kicks to the outer side. Warren and Copping, but the ball beats them to the line. Throw in centre wing outer side. 4-5 Port Adelaide, a goal Glenelg. 24 minutes into the first quarter in the 81 grand final. Cunningham, 18 years of age, number 42 against Nat of Port Adelaide. Weston coming in on the movement, dumps the ball towards the line. Cahill is closest to the ball, but he sees it go out of play once more, half forward right flank.
Number 8 is Chris Nat. Carey comes in late to do battle with him, gets the tap in fact in the direction of Corns. It's Cornwall on the ground trying to get the handball clear. Holding the ball, says the umpire, in young Craig Bradley. Just 17 years of age is the recipient of the free kick. Some of the crowd, as light rain continues to fall at Football Park. The kick from Bradley, searches for Evans in front, however. Seabourn for Glenelg has paid both the mark and the free kick. John Seabourn, who plays permanent back pocket for the Bays, a little undecided where to go, now heads it to the outer side, looks out there for Carey, up high was Abernethy, in goes Cunningham, can't work the ball clear. Johnny McFarlane appealing for the free kick, and in fact has been awarded it. A little doubtful in my mind the free kick, and now a 15-metre penalty against Port Adelaide, as they were rather reluctant to give up the ball. McFarlane moved now to centre wing, and a chance for the Bays to go forward once more. They've kicked the goal, they're 1 goal straight, but they're trailing Port Adelaide's 4-5. McFarlane boots it towards centre half forward, a low trajectory kick. Weston and Ebert do battle. There's a free kick, however, against Painter. It's going to Port Adelaide and will go to young Bruce Abernethy. From half-back, Abernethy with his third kick puts it high towards centre half forward. From behind again, it's Pake with fist of ball. Coming too strongly off Cunningham, he's got clear. Tackled, however, by Pake. Gets rid of the ball, and the ball dribbles out of play, but there's a player down behind play. It's a Glenelg player, and it looks like either Pake or Caldwell. Maybe Pake will pick that up for you in a moment. Carey.
Caldwell, I think.
Caldwell, as McFarlane runs the ball out of defence for the Bays. Kicks it long towards half forward. Copping there, also Nat. Coming across is Eckerman, gets clear. Handball's out wide, chance for Cunningham, picks it up cleverly. Not a good handball, back to Painter, puts him under the hammer. In goes Eckerman again, he's caught. Umpire paying a free kick, but there's the stretcher coming out. This could be a bad loss for Glenelg. It's not Pate because he was just in the screen at the moment. It is Caldwell, we think. Twiggy Caldwell, and a stretcher being required to take him off the ground.
David, he hasn't moved. The worried face of coach John Halbert, with him reserves coach Stephen Highwood, the successful reserves coach. His side won the premiership in the reserves, finishing at about 2 o'clock by 2 points. But the umpires are going to hold up play whilst Caldwell is taken from the ground, and still Twiggy Caldwell, number 22, has not moved. Unfortunate action in the 1981 grand final.
Play on, and one might ask the question, why did the stretcher go off?
Well, I see a doctor warming out to him, just in case, for the benefit of the viewers who left us for a commercial break. Twiggy Caldwell of the Bays has gone down on their half-back flank. He has not moved in the last minute and a half. A stretcher came out, then left the scene. A doctor is out, and at the moment the game has been suspended until such time as they make a decision. And the scene is not at all good. I just can't understand, like Peter Marker, why the stretcher left the scene, but a doctor is out there, and you can see the worried faces of the Glenelg supporters. And whilst we're just waiting for them, the goal kickers to date in the game, Port Adelaide, Clifford has got 2, and 2 mammoth goals they were 2. Daryl Cahill 1, Russell Ebert 1, and for Glenelg, it's 1 to Stephen Copping, and apparently it may be a back injury, and of course if it is a back injury, they need a special type of stretcher, and you can see it going out to the stricken Caldwell now. I think they have a special name for that stretcher, Peter. I can't recall it.
It escapes me too, Ian, but I don't think I've ever seen such a delay in a game of football as we've seen right now. And the Port Adelaide players and the Glenelg players have all congregated together, and
the Jordan frame, says the Gremlin, and whatever it is, it's not good news for Glenelg, and certainly not good news for Twiggy Caldwell. And Peter, I don't think I have ever seen a game, as you just said, where both teams have stopped, congregating around the centre. David Darcy, can you recall it in your days in the VFL?
Never, ever, Ian. I've never seen this occurrence ever before. It's certainly must be a bad injury. I don't like to speculate, but it must be a rather bad, serious injury to Neville Caldwell, and to get the Jordan frame over, that's the best thing. And provided the doctors are there, then he's certainly in good hands out there. Players from Port Adelaide now they've grouped together. They're running down towards the southern end. The Glenelg players have grouped together, and they're running to the other end of the ground. It's a big delay, and it's one that could be upsetting to both sides.
Peter Marker, the leading statistics, say for Port Adelaide to start with.
well, every picture tells a story, Ian, and of course it's across the centre that Port Adelaide are doing well. Kinnear 6 kicks and 3 marks. Russell Ebert 4 kicks, 3 handballs and a goal, and the other wingman is Tony Martin. He's also done well with 5 kicks and 1 handball, so that's where they're getting their run. And of course Stephen Clifford, 5 kicks, 2 goals.
For the Bays, Snout McFarlane, number 3, has got 5 kicks. Peter Carey and Ruck has got 4 and passed out 2 handballs. Number 11, Painter the Rover, 4 kicks and 2 handballs. And Paul Weston, likewise 4 and 2. David Darcy.
Yes, I thought Russell Ebert's influence, Peter, early in the game was quite an influence on the game. He started, we saw this a couple of weeks ago, where Paul Weston had to be shifted out of the centre. Ebert dominated on that in that particular game. Ebert started well again in the centre today, but to his credit, Weston fought back late in the term, and he's starting to move the ball and starting to gain possessions of the ball. But if Ebert can continue to dominate the centre, as he did in the first 15 minutes of the game, then perhaps a move would have to be made again.
I think so, David, and it was speculated during the week, of course, that centre-line duel would have a great bearing on the game. And there's Twiggy Caldwell, the erstwhile Glenelg follower, half-back, ruckman, you name it. He's done a lot of great work for Glenelg, and let's hope that all's well with Twiggy Caldwell. I'd hate there to be a serious injury to him, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for a great performance.
Meanwhile, the game continues on the outer side, and I think it's, from memory, it's a free kick went to Len Warren, the half-back flanker for Port Adelaide, and I think play was suspended something like 5.5 minutes whilst Twiggy Caldwell was stretched from the arena. The long kick by Warren, back towards midfield. Pake spoils from behind. Martin forwards the ball with a high kick in towards the pocket. Seabohm getting back in defence, can't complete the mark, and the ball goes out of play in the full forward right pocket, with Port Adelaide in attack and leading 4-5 to the Bays goal. Carey against Granger. Carey's tap. Holst in defence. Seabohm can't get the kick away. In fact, it was McDermott smothered off the boot. It's over the line for another throw-in. And Peter Marker, did you pick up the move? Who's gone to the half-back flank?
I haven't picked it up yet, Ian, but I'll have it for you in a minute.
Carey, the tap away. Corns goes through, almost leaves the football behind. Weston to Pake. Ebert soccers up towards Evans. He can't half volley it or dream run the back of the pack. And Bradley bolts through to put on another goal for Port Adelaide, his first. And brilliantly done, the half-forward flanker for Port Adelaide. And the Magpies go to 5-5 to the solitary goal from Glenelg.
Well, Paul Weston and Bob Pake made the mistake, and through came Russell Ebert. Like a German tank he came through, socket off the ground. Bradley was running forward like a good half-forward should. Picked it up and scored a ripper for Port Adelaide. 5-5, the Bays are 1 goal.
At the centre bounce once more. Nat went in strongly. McFarlane trying to work it clear. Gets the handball out wide. It's snared by Clifford. Coming across Kinnear. He can't get it clear. Ebert does. Gets it to Nat. Nat misses out a handball. Excellently to Clifford. Clifford from half forward. Puts in a high one. Going to the square. Evans and Coulm. Evans. Oh, what a mark. From behind once more. Tim Evans showed great judgment. and got over the back of Keith Coleman.
It's amazing, isn't it, David, for a player to stand behind a 6'3.5" fullback and try to mark. But how often does he do it?
Tim Evans has 96 for the year. He's got 97 now. He's kicked the ball right out of the park. First goal to Evans, the 6th to Port Adelaide, 6-5, lead the Bays 1 goal.
David, you're dead right. That one's finished up in West Lakes. They're going to have to bring another ball. Peter Marker.
How important are starts in finals, Ian Day? 6-5 at this stage. They lead by nearly 6 goals. That's going to be a big leeway to catch up.
Peter, we saw last week Keith Coleman, or the last time these two teams met, and Port Adelaide won comfortably. We saw Tim Evans get slaughtered by Keith Coleman in the first half, but he continued in the second half in brilliant form, Evans, and took, I think, 4 or 5 marks from behind. And
Amazing.
he, as you said, prefers to play behind.
Well, he holds the record here, Ian, 148 goals in a season.
Nat against Carey. Nat stumped to the half-forward line. The Bay starting to panic a little bit now. Cunningham gets it out. Or Clifford goes through. Cahill in. Slips out a handball. Glenelg intercepted, however, by McFarlane to Marshall as he goes to the outer side. The Bays badly need a steadier. They could see their hopes go in the first quarter as Warren boots long, but boots out of play on the full, and the penalty kick will be taken on the half-back flank by wingman David Marshall.
David Marshall with the ball. The Bays trailing by 35 points now. The quarter's extended to 36 minutes, but as you know, we lost about 5 minutes when Twiggy Caldwell left the ground. Peter Brown gets a kick forward, only as far as Warren, however. Playing well in the fence for the Magpies. Warren kicks back towards the centre of the ground. Carey dropped it, slipped it over the Corns, in trouble. Gets a handball out wide, snared by Martin. Around McFarlane goes Martin and thumps the Magpies forward once more. Evans out in front of Coleman. The ball sits up awkwardly for him. Coleman comes from behind, gets fist to it and puts it out of play. Right forward pocket, in that defensive pocket here at Football Park. About 45 metres around from the Magpies' goal. Carey, cleverly to Pake. Pake looking for somebody to kick it to. Hasn't got many leading. It's Kernaghan. It's in the centre of the ground. Goes to ground as Phillips tackles. Through comes Giles. Kicks long. Looking for Evans. But Coleman out in front again. Takes a strong mark. And there's the siren. The quarter went 37 minutes. And at quarter time, Port Adelaide 6-5, 41. Lead Glenelg 1 straight goal.
Back. Quarter time scores. Port Adelaide 6-5. Glenelg 1 goal. It's the Bays' turn to go with the breeze. And this could be the quarter which determines who will win the flag in 1981. It's imperative, Peter Marker, that the Bays get within cooey of Port Adelaide by half-time.
Well, the Bays need a lift here. They need some leaders out there, particularly Paul Weston. He's got to do something in the middle.
Commencement of the second quarter in the 1981 grand final at Football Park. It was Cunningham that tapped it forward. Granger tried to do likewise and missed. Clifford after it again, played well in the first quarter, as is Tony Martin. Russell Johnson takes possession, gives it to Captain Cunningham, shrugs the tackle, slips it to Granger, caught too high, called to play on now, goes with his left foot. It's a high kick, hasn't covered much meterage. Evans up, oh, but a good safe to mark, and he's hurt himself, I'm afraid. Jimmy LaHoo in taking that mark, and what a great mark it was, Peter Marker.
He was the only one that had his eyes on the ball, David. Superb mark for a defender.
LaHoo kicks to the centre of the ground. Kernaghan up high, couldn't complete the mark. Chance now for the Bays through Johnny Painter. His high kick towards centre half forward. Vadar out, can't mark. Walter to the ground. In there doing battle is Phillips. Tries to get it clear. In fact, it was Hoffner. Out it comes to Giles. Sweeps the handball out straight to Rady for Glenelg. Rady thumps it back in towards the square. Kernaghan up. McDermott shoots. Has he got it? Oh, he has! What a goal! Chris McDermott. A magnificent shot out of that pack. Has notched his first goal and Glenelg's second. 2 goals. Port Adelaide are 6-5.
Well, the Tigers are back in business because they got this goal a lot easier than Port Adelaide got theirs. McDermott off hands, number 41. He kicked 4 last week and won half of football. He's 17 years of age. He knows what finals football is all about now. The Bays are starting to come back into it. 2 goals, Port Adelaide 6-5.
Carey against Johnson. Carey gets the benefit of the bounce, but he knocks it to his opponent. Can't get it away. Carey in again. Ebert forced to concede ground to Phillips. A long one, Kinnear. He's had a brilliant game to date. Kicks long to the half-forward line of Port Adelaide. Evans comes in front. Coolman thumps away. Abernethy drops the football. Belton sweeps out a long handball. Clifford hooks towards the big white ones, but he's going to be well offline and actually found out of play on the foot.
A good idea if someone picked Clifford up here today. He's getting too many touches.
Long kick from Liu back towards midfield. Gee, that covered 65 metres. Well done, Weston, to get the ball to his half-forward line. Cunningham pushed off the ball. In comes Brown. Weston wants it. Brown's going alone. Dashes over the half-forward line. Goes in long, but it's Danny who's getting back for Port Adelaide. The ball hooked slightly offline, and the Bays register their first point for the afternoon. 2-1, Port Adelaide 6-5.
Game being played at a ferocious pace, and I would imagine that both sides would be fit enough to keep this up for a lot longer.
Danny Hughes goes to the defensive pocket. Weston up from behind. Carey also for the Bays, claims the mark, not paid. And umpire Mead decides on a bounce. Glenelg started brilliantly in this second quarter, have one goal off the boot of McDermott. They're 2-1, trailing Port Adelaide 6-5. Carey gets it to Copping, can't get clear. Ebert does, close to the line, swings with his left foot along that outer side. Granger had front position. It was Abernethy trying to tap it forward. In goes Pate for the Bays. He's held by Abernethy, but umpire Schofield elects on a bounce. 2-1 Glenelg, 13 points, trailing Port Adelaide 6-5 on the outer side. Tension aplenty as Carey gets it forward to Holst. He's tackled strongly by Johnson, but again, umpire Schofield determines the ball was held to him. 16 is David Marshall as the umpire puts the ball to ground through the legs of Weston, tapped out cleverly by Ebert in the direction of Clifford. The bomber has a kick forward towards half forward. Oh, there's a push in the back. Has it gone unnoticed? It has. The Port Adelaide mark slipped over to Bradley, looking for Evans. Coleman back with him. Needs support, needs the ball to sit for him also. Taps it out, but taps it straight to Kinnear. Here's a great chance for Kinnear with his left foot. Bangs in towards goal, but he's offline, in fact, miles offline as Kim Kinnear gets himself from the ground. The ball was out of bounds on the full.
A long kick in by Holst back towards midfield. Clifford smothered off the boot. Weston's waiting the outcome. Corns gets it out. Finally, Ebert with a chance. Breaks his way clear, drives in towards Kinnear. Evans comes lumbering to meet the ball. Will need support. Dummies the handball. Does it beautifully. Heads towards goal. Puts it in the air and gives it a chance, but the wind takes it offline as Evans shrugs the hands. I think one of his teammates might have wanted a handball, and Tim Kinnear, Peter Marker.
Yeah, they're not picking that wind very well at all. Kinnear out of bounds a little while ago, and Evans had plenty of time to shape up. There's John Halbert. He sides down at the moment. He'd be wondering what he can do.
Pullman went short to Seabohm. Seabohm puts the Bays towards centre wing over the head of Rady, coming through as Weston. Couldn't control it. Phillips in trouble, holding the ball, says the umpire. And it would be free to the 18-year-old Stephen Cunningham. Playing at centre-half forward, has two Bay players loose half forward. This is his fourth kick. Ignores them, goes for distance, looking for Vader, but it's a Port Adelaide mark. Russell Johnson, the big ruckman, dropping back to centre-half back, takes a timely mark for the Magpies. Johnson directs play to the outer side. Clifford on a lead. Marshall up against him, almost marked by Clifford. Coming through was Corns, brushed off the ball. Martin out there with Marshall, spins out of trouble cleverly. A beautiful hand pass to Carey. Carey to Painter, back it goes to Carey, but it's putting under the hammer. Needs support now, the big fella, hasn't got it. Loses the ball to Martin. Back it comes, however, to Carey. He's deep in the pocket, fires it towards goal. But has stuck it straight out of bounds on the full, and a penalty free kick to Port Adelaide.
Well, experienced players making a lot of mistakes. Carey didn't take any time at all then, kicked out of bounds on the full, and he's having a hard job against Russell Johnson in day.
Peter Marker, he's doing a lot of work, and I'm just wondering whether he might blow before the end of the game. He's almost playing the game like a rover. He may need support. Hoffner. Oh, the kick is a shocker, dropping well short. McDermott couldn't. The bottom of the packet's farmed out. Vader, he can't get it clear. McDermott goes in again. Eckerman over the top. Shot out towards Pater, getting back in defences. Cahill. In fact, Port Adelaide could be running that loose man in defence now as Len Warren gets clear, drives the ball back towards centre wing. Seabohm there, but over the top. A fine mark pulled down by Pate at centre wing. The base centre half back, playing only his third senior game for 1981. and he gets a 15-metre penalty.
And doing well on Granger too, Ian.
Kick by Pake is screwed in towards goal. There's a big pack in there, and the mark is paid in defence to Port Adelaide's Tony Giles at centre half back. Giles steadies play down, kicks to the dead pocket on the outer side, dropping short, well taken by the youngster Invader. He's giving Carey a spell on the ball at the moment. From 60 metres out, puts it high in towards the square. Hughes is going to be a leaper from behind, thumps the ball away, can't find it. Carey has an airy going through there. Port Adelaide socket off the ground, off the boots of Warren. But I think in the meantime, the umpire has given a free kick against the Bays, and it'll be taken by Port Adelaide's Greg Phillips.
Good news from Rob Colvin is, Ian, that Neville Caldwell, who left the ground, has gone to hospital, but unconfirmed at this stage. It is only concussion, so let's hope that is confirmed later on. Good news for Neville Caldwell and for all Bay supporters. The kick by Phillips to the outer side. It's a Port Adelaide mark, and it's Bruce Abernethy. Abernethy with his fourth kick now from half-back. Holding up in the breeze, will make centre wing. Corns in front, should mark on his chest and does so. It was Granger coming in late, but Corns held his ground well. The Bays doing most of the attacking, but still at 2-1 to Port Adelaide 6-6. They have the use, as Hayden Bunton said, of about a 5-goal breeze in this second quarter. At centre half forward, Painter's hurry kick was smothered. Port Adelaide stacking up the play at centre half back. Warren, it is rather a Teckerman on the bottom of that pack, holds up the ball, and umpire Mead will bounce. Centre half forward for Glenelg. They've been playing almost 9 minutes of the second quarter. At the bounce, Cunningham tapped it forward. Warren it was, got it to Phillips. Phillips thumps it on. Chance for Cunningham, needs support, gets it over cleverly. Good play by Port Adelaide as the kick from Martin comes towards set half forward. Belton leads in the race for the ball. He's clear of Lahoo. Chips into the pocket looking for Evans. Over his head, over the line and out of bounds on the full. And Keith Coleman will take the free.
And Port Adelaide playing Daryl Cahill loose in defence. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they can still kick goals if they want to.
Coleman's kick is towards Bader and well taken on the half-back line. He swings wide, off balance as he gets the kick away to the half-forward line. Copping, who's finding it hard to get into the play, has got the football. It's Clifford over the top, and in go the players, diving for the ball, and umpire Peter Mead indicates that he wants a bounce. The attacking division of Glenelg, but only just, as they trail 2-1 to 6-6. Johnson up, gets the tap away, back however towards Corns. Belton's there with that player. Corns slips the handball over to Brown. Brown around the corner of the half-forward line, too far for Walter. Mistake with the hands by Hughes. Walter on the left foot, can't bring the ball back far enough. And now the Bays suffer in front of the big white sticks by kicking the ball out of play on the foot.
There's John Halbert, the coach of Glenelg. Must be just getting a little worried at this stage as they're finding the goals hard to come by. They've had a 1-1 in almost 10 minutes of play with this breeze at their back. The kick in. Corns, the big leaper from behind. Oh, great mark, Graham Corns. Play on, however, is the call. Should have been paid. Can't understand that one. Let's have a look at Peter Marker.
Well, those are the marks you should pay. Sometimes a couple of other fingers get on the ball, but he marked it, he controlled it. Umpire Mead, I think, made the wrong decision then.
Carey takes the ball, gives it to Weston, slips it over to McDermott. He's already kicked one in this quarter, but this time he's well offline. And another point to Glenelg. Chris McDermott with his hands on his head, realising that he should have goaled from only 30 metres out, but he's kicked the point. The Bays move to 2-2. Port Adelaide are 6.
We've played 11 minutes of the second quarter. The new custodian for Port Adelaide, Peter Hoffner, in place of the suspended Trevor Sorrell. Hoffner's kick is to the outer side. The back of the pack, Phillips. Too slow to get rid of it. A good tackle put on him. Corns hooks it high, wide and handsome into the forward pocket. And it was not so handsome at the end. And, well, there's the wrestle behind play. Just saying, how do you do for the grand final? Corns at the bottom of the pack. Martin over the top. And it looks as though Greg Phillips has come in to be the conciliator. But in the meantime, the penalty free kick will go to Ivan Eckerman. Corns made a dart. Playfully. Tension on the grand final. Eckerman's high kick towards the half-back flank. A lot of pushing and shoving. Corns tries to break his way through, gets a handball out, but it's Abernethy who takes it for Port Adelaide. Kicks towards centre wing. Granger can't bring it down. Who's in for the crumbs? Clifford lets Ebert go through, slips out a handball. Back to Clifford in the 1-2 on the leaders. Evans, that's beautifully distributed, but he can't get there. And Coleman has all the time in the world to recover Oh, the kick is a shocker. Straight to Kinnear. I think he was looking to go further. Kinnear under pressure. Breaks clear of the tackle now and pushes out the pass towards the half-forward line. Corns at the back of the pack. No, it's going to be Pate. He's at the bottom of the pack. Marshall, a wild kick, can't find Copping. Midfield, Abernethy back to the half-forward line. All mistakes galore now. Pate at the bottom of the pack. The umpire rules a line ball and the bounce will take place at centre half-forward with Port Adelaide in attack.
This is where that loose man that Port Adelaide have got down in defence is just not paying off. Daryl Cahill's got nothing to do and Port Adelaide haven't got enough men up front to kick goals.
At the bounce, it's Vader. Gets the tap to Copping. Tries to get clear, loses it to Cunningham. His kick has been smothered. Marshall goes in strongly for the Bays. The umpire forced to bounce, or has he picked out a free kick? I think he has. To Glenelg's David Marshall for over the shoulder. Marshall a long way from his centre wing. He's at centre half back at the moment. Chips it out wide, looks for Kernaghan. Phillips will thump it clear. It rebounds in the direction of Kinnear. He's beset upon by two Glenelg players. Has the ball held to him rather, says umpire Schofield, and he'll bounce once more. Much to the disgust of Port Adelaide fans who thought perhaps a free kick was coming their way. At the bounce, it's Vader that gets the tap forward. It's snared by Giles, but his kick is smothered. Very hard to get a clear kick at the moment. Horns runs the circle, screws back over his shoulder. Brady up for the base, fists it out, it heads in the direction of Kernaghan, leaves the ball behind. This allows Warren in for the Magpies. Warren gets his kick forward. Pake in front of Granger, needs support. The handball comes to McDermott. He dummies well, sends out a long one in the direction of Marshall, but it's Hoffner chipping in for the Magpies. Walter in pursuit, but Hoffner does it well. Wide on the half-back flank, wants support. Forced to kick hurriedly, back in the direction of Martin, gets clear of Pake, chips in a short one, a beautiful pass, but David Holtz from behind does the spoiling and puts the ball out of play, out of side. 14 minutes gone, Port 6-6, Glenelg 2-2.
Port Adelaide players are working harder, they've got more men around the ball.
Vader, taken by McDermott, kicked to the half-forward line, but not well directed, and the loose man in defence, as Peter Marker told you, is Daryl Cahill, and he takes the mark. Chips out short one. Inside the half-back line is Bradley, and he'll put Port Adelaide along the outer side. Port slowing down play. Time is on their side in this quarter at the 14-minute mark. Granger comes in and thumps the ball out of play. Port Adelaide leading 6-6 to Glenelg's 2-2, but they got off to a slow start with the breeze in the first quarter.
Port Adelaide obviously want to win the game this quarter. They want to go in with 4 goals up, that's for sure.
Copping, Holst. Back to Copping in the 1-2 as he goes to the half-forward line now. Robbie Walter comes in, hasn't been paid the mark. He's got to get it. There's 3 Port Adelaide players surrounding. No backup support at all. Getting the kick to the ball was Warren. Belton, supported now by Martin, who kicks long to the half-forward line. No one home for Port Adelaide, and the ball will tumble out of play in that spot. 6-6 to 2-2. Evans has come out from goal to take the ruck throw in, taps it back beautifully to Clifford. He'll need support, gets it from Cunningham. Evans wants it, Cunningham around the corner. The bounce will determine this one. At the back of the pack, Granger! Oh, what a gift! Did not come to meet the ball. The bounce favoured him into the open goal, and Port Adelaide has got their 7th goal on the board, and luck is a fortune. Peter Marker.
Certainly is. The bounce of the ball. Granger judged it beautifully. Stood between 2 players and bang, through it went. 7-6 Port Adelaide, Glenelg 2-2.
Out of play in the left forward pocket. Port Adelaide making a change. Abernethy off and poor Pleasure onto the ground, and Abernethy's gone straight down the race. Obviously something wrong with him. From the throw-in, Glenelg trying to work the ball forward. It's in their square. Painter can't get it clear, and the umpire forced once more to bounce right on the 10-metre line. Glenelg desperately needing goals as we're approaching the 17-minute mark. Brady tried to take the ball out of the air. Walter tries to get clear, can't do so. His arms were pinned to him. Players going in very, very strongly, but a big melee, and umpire Schofield again bounced. This time it's about 15 metres away from the Bay goals. The wind's still blowing strongly at Football Park. It comes to McDermott, screws over, it's going to bounce high over the head of Hughes, but wide and out of play. Right forward pocket, and Glenelg desperately striving to get goals, but being pressured all the way by Port Adelaide.
Notice John Seabohm is sticking on Russell Ebert now like a glove.
Brady shoots, it's high. Offline again, well offline, and out of bounds on the full. A penalty free kick to Port Adelaide.
The Port Adelaide defence too tight, too much pressure. The Bay's not getting clear to have a set shot at goal. And Port Adelaide are hanging on well. Cahill. Johnson edged underneath the ball. Coming through, Copping. Painter for the Bays. High in towards full forward. Getting to it is Hughes. And takes the mark in the full-back right pocket. Elects to play on as he shoots it high towards centre wing grandstand side. 1-on-1. Cunningham versus Marshall. He's dispossessed. In goes Cahill, loses the ball as well, but Hoffman was well clear on the half-back line. Runs it to Martin, who kicks long to Port Adelaide's half-forward line. Granger in front, Casley takes the mark. Wants a running player. Paul Peace on the ground. Kicks, or at least he gives the run, but he kicks further afield, and Coleman with one leg held takes a brilliant mark in defence. Evans lost his footing early. Watch him, and down he goes, grabs the leg, but Coleman eyes on the ball. Great effort by Coleman, back live, ball midfield. In goes Carey, slips it over Weston. Weston in towards full forward. Robbie Walter at the back of the pack, in front almost McDermott. Over the top is Hoffner. Walter goes in. At the bottom of the pack, Eckerman, and the umpire will come in and bounce 40 metres out in front of the Glenelg goal, and you think they ever need one. Right now, almost 19 minutes into this second quarter, and they're dragging the chain by 34 points.
Brady, chance to get through, gets the handball out, it's tapped to Walter, he's going to snap over his shoulder. Hasn't brought it back enough, however, and a minor score again to the Bays when they see him, they told you they so desperately need goals. They're 2-3, trailing Port 7-6.
Glenelg are struggling, and they're struggling because they're not doing enough work. Port Adelaide are doing all the running, they're helping each other, and that's what team football's all about.
Danny Hughes, the boy from Cummins on the west coast. A long kick to the outer side. Carey reads it well. Thought about playing on. His forward line's pretty cluttered. Port Adelaide running a loose man, and certainly it's difficult to pick out a lead. One underway now, but a kick is a shocker. It's Martin got the ball. Seabohm over the top, breaking his way through Weston. The kick is high. In towards Walter, sets himself. Thumped away by Hoffner. In defence, Ebert, cool under pressure, finds his captain in Cunningham, who gets the ball back towards the half-back line. Carey can't keep it in play, and a throw-in will take place on the half-forward right flank of Glenelg.
Russell Ebert playing a magnificent game for Port Adelaide in the middle. He is right in control.
33 points is the difference. The throw-in, the umpire's found a free kick. It's Port Adelaide's way, and big Russell Johnson. 6'5.5" of him, 13 stone 6. The kick to the outer side, snared by Clifford, bangs it forward. An awkward bounce for Lahu, gives Bolton the opportunity on the ground. Taken away now by Granger for Port Adelaide. Threads out the long handball to Ebert. Ebert's clear, has a bounce. What a luxury, 2 bounces. He's running straight into the open goal and bangs it through. Magnificent football by Port Adelaide. It shows on the face of Russell Ebert. He's kicked 2 goals from the centre. A great display by the Magpie. 4 times Brownlow medalist. His second goal. Port 8-6, Glenelg 2-3.
Russell Ebert's doing all the running. From full-back to full forward he's covering. Got the handball from Granger. Granger's lifted. Russell Ebert's been on top all day. He would never miss those. He's a champion. 8-6 Port Adelaide, Glenelg 2-3, and Abernethy's got a slight hamstring strain.
Russell Ebert's got 4 McGarry medals to back up your statement that he's a champion, Peter. The kick to the half-forward line. Copping can't scoop it up on the half volley. The pressure's on that player. Beautifully done, Warren. To Phillips. To the half-forward line go Port Adelaide. Out there it's Bradley and Holst. The Bay defender gets there first. Has the pace to get around and boots it back towards midfield. Brown can't get it. Martin, McDermott, Farland, Brown again at centre wing. Chips out the short pass. Cunningham, now the Bays have got a chance. Kicks in long, in towards full forward. Setting himself Vader over the top. Hughes thumps the ball away. Hoffner in defence. Needs support. Gets it in the form of Nat. Cool under pressure. Tries to find Warren, but the kick is not a good one. And he boots it out of play on the full, and it's Stephen Copping to get the penalty free kick. 35 or 40 metres out. The angle is most acute. The breeze coming in from his left will help. Not even going for goal. Puts it in the air in hope. Cunningham, one grab, can't complete it. Eckerman. The tackle is put on by Painter. Port Adelaide force it clear. Kinnear back in defence. Hughes over the top of the ball as well, trying to force it out. Here's a chance now for Glenelg through Painter. but it's taken by Nat only centimetres out from the Glenelg goal.
Chris Nat indicating that he wants to go out to that defensive pocket. It's across the face of goal, but it's certainly the safety side to be on. Nat kicks high to that outer side. In the middle of the pack was Martin, taken again by Ebert, searching out there for a teammate in Belton. Belton knocks it forward, snared by Brown. De Carey over the top to Weston. Weston supported by McDermott, but he's run down. Warren gets it back to Belton. The Magpies get clear again. To that outer side, outer wing, into shooters. Craig Bradley, he can't keep the ball in play, and it'll be a throw in on the outer flank.
Well, they've played in the last 2 grand finals, Port Adelaide. They know what's required, and their defence is playing magnificently.
They lead by 39 points at the throw-in. Carey gets it over to Corns. Corns concedes ground, but gets it back to Holes. Holes towards centre-half forward. Kernaghan being held by the jumper. Umpire Mead seen it. And the youngster will take the free kick at centre-half forward. This will be his 6th kick, and what a vital kick it is too. The Bays trail by 6-3 as we approach the 24-minute mark. Kernaghan about 50 metres out. The breeze is blowing over his left shoulder. Naturally, he should be aiming for the big white stick on the left. It's not a good kick. It drops short, and it's a Port Adelaide mark in defence to Tony Giles. Glenelg can't get anything going in their forward line as Giles again goes for that dead pocket. Up again was Martin on the ground and pushing the back to Weston, and the Glenelg skipper takes the free. He's a good 50 metres out, probably too far to score because the breeze is difficult from out there. Uses his left foot. It's a wobbly old kick, searching for Vader, can't find him. Painter left the ball behind, kicked out of the hands of Eckerman. Kicking in danger, says the umpire, and that's the first time that it's been played all day. There perhaps could have been a number of occasions when it may also have been paid. But Eckerman receives the free kick, and he in turn goes for that dead pocket. Kernaghan up for the Bays, can't complete the mark. McFarlane searches for the ball, can't find it. Boundary umpire indicates that the ball has wobbled out of play and there'll be a throw-in. John Cahill, the coach of Port Adelaide, having words to say on the bench. They lead by 39 points, however, as we're nearly to half-time. Rady an opportunity, Giles pressuring, off the score, holding the ball, it's a Bay free kick, and here's a great opportunity for the Bays. Darryl Rady came on to replace the injured Twiggy Caldwell in the first quarter. Player leaving the ground is Chris Vader, and coming on young Tony McGuinness, just 17 years of old. Number 54, playing naturally in his first grand final.
It's an important goal, David, for Glenelg. It's vital that Rady kicks this because Glenelg are not in the hunt at the moment.
Oh, Peter, I think he's missed. Oh, he has. A terrible mistake by Darryl Rady. Won the Baconilla Ford, as you said. Glenelg are 2-4. Port Adelaide are 8-6. 25 minutes gone of the second quarter.
Psychologically, Peter, the Bays must be right down now. We're almost, in fact, we are into time on of the second quarter, and they've still got a deficit of 38 points. In fact, it's increased since quarter time by 3 points. Kick in by Hughes is a good one towards the half-back line. Belt smothered off the boot. Clifford, the tackle is high. Had a great first quarter. 2 of the best goals you would ever see. And this is kick number 11 to the affectionately known Bomber Clifford. Former Collingwood VFL player. Clifford to the outer side. High in the air. The back of the pack, it's Corns, but in front the mark should be paid to Chris Nat. And searching for it, the umpire indicates he's been paid.
Not a bad place to be in front of a pack on a day like today.
Ball dropping short, Peter. Nat from centre wing at the 26.5-minute mark. The seconds running out for the Bays in this quarter with the breeze. Kicked into the man, but the umpire indicated that the Bay player and Peter Carey had gone over the mark. Awards a 15-metre penalty. Brings in the attack side of centre wing now. The kick is still not a good one. Fortuitously drops into the arms of Brian Cunningham. Thought about playing on. Too far out to score. Looking for Evans. Big fella gives the lead. Oh, Cunningham runs himself into a pocket. Back to Ebert. Likewise, chips it out. Back. Not a good pass at all. And the free kick will go the way of Glenelg's John McFarlane to be taken on the half-back flank.
McFarlane plays on quickly back into the centre of the ground and finds Captain Weston. Weston with his 10th kick. A great duel, he and Ebert. A high kick towards centre-half forward. Looks for Kernaghan. Can't complete the mark. Through goes Rady, but left the ball behind. Players now stack up. and umpire Mead will bounce. 38 points is the difference. We've played 27 minutes and 25 seconds of this second quarter. Big number of players around the ball, as you can see. There's Peter Carey. Cunningham comes from the side, gets it to Weston. Weston out wide to McDermott. McDermott bangs a long one into the pocket. Walters in front. First attempt, can't complete it. Runs the ball over the line. And a throw in, this time about 25 metres around from the Glenelg goal.
Undisciplined kicking from Glenelg. They're getting to the ball to the boot, and it's going straight into that dead pocket. That's not good work from attacking players.
From the throw in, it was Phillips from behind getting the big thump away, but he in turn has put it straight out of bounds once more. Glenelg in heaps of trouble at the moment. Cunningham gently taps it forward. Then it was that pushed it out. It's taken by Payne to call Weston, in fact. But there's the siren to end the second quarter. At half-time, it's all Port Adelaide. They're 8-6-54, leading Glenelg 2-4-16.
Ranger pushed out to Ebert when he dashed into the goal. That was just sheer brilliance.
Was a classic, Ian, and the run of Ebert to get down there, because he was down in the back pocket probably 30 seconds before that. The run to get down there, to take it off hands, and the way he tore towards goal, you would have put $100,000 on him, David.
Certainly would, Peter. Great player, Russell Ebert.
Goal kickers to half-time for Port Adelaide. Clifford and Ebert have 2, 1 each to Daryl Cahill, Tim Evans, David Granger and Craig Bradley. And for Glenelg, of course, 2 only, Stephen Copping and Chris McDermott. At half-time, the league grand final, yes, it's the 81 grand final. The scores are 8-6 Port Adelaide, 2 goals for Glenelg. Well, Kevin Sheedy, a well-known VFL coach of Essendon, is in Adelaide for the South Australian grand final, and he's with us at the moment talking to Ken Cunningham.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, it is my pleasure to welcome to the microphone the coach of the Bombers, Kevin Sheedy. Kevin, are you impressed with Port Adelaide?
Ken, yeah, they're a good side. They're a tough side. They're playing well, and they're going to be very hard to beat, naturally, even though they've got the score on the board. But anything can happen in a game of football. I've seen a few games over in Melbourne lost in the last half.
Like 15 straight lose to, and it's history.
Yeah, that's right. 16 wins, and we ended up 5th. But Port Adelaide, they're making the game because they're running at the ball, and that's what it's all about.
Russell Ebert's performance in the middle, Kevin, of course, he went with North Melbourne and had very little success, but his performance in the middle at the moment is brilliant.
Yes, he's kicked 2 valuable goals, and he's probably given them a lift, naturally, as well as Clifford in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Played an exceptionally good game, and he really gives Port Adelaide a lift also.
Well, Kev, if you're in the boots of the coach of Glenelg, Johnny Halbert, what sort of things would you do at half-time?
Well, the first thing is you've got to establish that you've got to be able to kick 6 goals in 50 minutes, 60 minutes of football.
Right.
And we all know that that's possible.
Right.
Because anything can happen in that situation. And the immediate goal or 2 after the half-time break, whether it's into the win or not, is very, very important. This third quarter coming up. Now, if Glenelg can kick the first 1 or 2 goals, well, then they're right in business. Well, I think at the present time, well, we mentioned Clifford earlier. We're quite happy with a boy called Bradley at the moment. I come over to see him play, and he's done quite well for a young kid, 17, in the Port Adelaide side. I think that probably, just looking at Glenelg, it's very hard to say who would impress you Glenelg at the present time, because the ball's just not happening for them, and they're not taking the initiative either. You know, really, they don't bring the ball quickly into the forward line, which enables Port Adelaide to just get up there, pump, big fist, away it goes type of thing. So, they're important issues when you're trying to look at your best players, because at the present time, there are very few in the Glenelg side.
Right, just looking at the goal kickers there, Kev, you've got them there. Firstly, of course, for Port Adelaide, Clifford and Ebert have kicked 2. Cahill, Evans, Granger and Bradley each 1. And, of course, for the Tigers, Copping and McDermott have each kicked a goal. So you're right there, but Glenelg's forward work hasn't been good, but the ball hasn't been delivered to them properly either, Kevin.
No, and it hasn't been delivered quickly enough to them. Every time I keep looking downfield to see where players are positioned, or the whole forward line is packed, and I think that it probably stems from not getting enough drive from the on-the-ball players and around the centre line, where no doubt Port Adelaide are on top.
Kevin, 2 other players, of course, that the Bombers are looking at is Bucky Cunningham and Paul Weston. Have you seen their performances?
Well, Weston's probably played quite well, really. He's a player that I keep looking at the situation. I wonder what he would be like at the moment if he was in the Port Adelaide side, and I think that these are important issues when you're looking at players.
Also, Cunningham, well, I'm glad to see him back and playing fairly well. He's sharing the roving equally with Cahill, and I think they might slip the young fella Bradley on the ball now and then. He looks like he moves downfield a bit, so you know, they share the roving, and that's a sensible thing to do too.
Actually, what about young Stephen Cunningham at centre half forward for the base? Have you seen his performance?
Well, he's a good player. He's not a strong, mature type of player yet, but he's trying his heart out. You know, he's got a very fine player in Greg Phillips, isn't it, Greg? And I think that he's had the ball and been near the play a fair bit, but he just probably hasn't. The constructive things haven't come off his play yet. They haven't got the ball through the goals. So if they all put in a lot more, I think Glenelg can get back in the game.
Have you seen the umpiring?
The umpiring is just ordinary. Not that I get on well with
Careful.
But, I just feel that they perhaps don't pay the definite free kicks when they're there, I think. And a couple of times they were out-positioned to give the decisions also, because I looked to see why the free kick wasn't paid, and I saw the umpire stretching out downfield. So probably just they could pay the odd one or two free kicks.
Does it
when
vary
they
much,
are
Kevin,
there.
from Victorian style of umpiring, what you've seen here today?
I think if the game was close, they'll be doing the right thing in letting it play on, but the game isn't close, and if the free kicks are there, you should pay them.
Yeah. What about the actual standard of the game compared to, say, a home and away game in Victoria? How would you rate it?
Well, I don't think the game just at the present time is a good game, just because the scores are different, but I think that if they can make it a great game just right now, and this is what the whole ball game is about, in the next half, that's the most interesting. I always leave the last half. That's finished with. You know, your most important quarter, and your next most important 10 minutes are these ones coming up. And
would you be getting stuck into the players now if you were the coach of the base? Is that your style or not?
No, not necessarily. No. I'd be looking at it, saying, now what would I have to say to get these players really believing that they can win the game? And let's face it, I mentioned 60 minutes. If you outscore Port Adelaide by 2 or 3 goals in this quarter, and then 2 or 3 goals in the last quarter, you've got a chance.
Yeah. It's amazing, Kevin, you made the statement that you've seen, before today's game, you've seen every player in this grand final perform either by videotape or live. It's incredible.
Well, I mean, not really, because you keep thinking that, you know, Victoria's over there and everybody watches Victoria. But, I mean, we find that it's important that Victorians watch South Australian and Western Australian football, because you could nearly name every team, say, in the Collingwood team.
Yeah.
Well, I say to myself, I've got to name every team in the Port Adelaide side, or I've got to name everybody in the West Adelaide side, because that's where football is going in the 80s.
When do you go back, Kev?
Well, it just depends. Probably tomorrow, I'd say.
You're not going to talk to a couple of players, eh?
Oh, look, come on. Not my style.
Kevin, it's great to have you in Adelaide, and let's hope the second half of this 1981 grand final picks up. Let's now go back to Ian Day, David Darcy and Peter Marker.
Thank you, KG. Still a half-time break, of course, with Port Adelaide. A 38-point advantage, 8-6 to 2-4. Peter Marker with perhaps a little bit more local knowledge than Kevin Sheedy. Who do you think has played well for the two teams?
Well, just looking at Port Adelaide, Ian, I think right across the centre, Russell Ebert, his statistics don't really suggest that he's played a great game, but I think he has. He's made beautiful use of the ball. He's kicked 2 goals and he's brought players into it, particularly Kinnear. Kinnear's on top, Martin's on top, Clifford's on top. The runners are doing the work.
Port Adelaide is back into the arena for the start of the second half with that 38-point advantage. The Bays still not out, and I would think would be disappointed with their first half performance. The much vaunted clash between Tim Evans and Coolman. I think at this stage you'd have to say Coolman was on top.
Yes, he's had his measure over the years. He's such a big player, Coolman, but of course Evans only needs 4 or 5 grabs, and he's got that many goals. That's the big problem. But gee, it's the Port Adelaide defence, David, that is scratching, crawling, biting, attacking the ball at ankle level. They're just not giving Glenelg a chance up there, are they?
No, it's a very strong point for Port Adelaide. Those 6 fellas, the set defence of Port Adelaide as the Glenelg side come back under the ground. They're the forte of Port Adelaide. Gee, they're so strong, as you said. They scratch, they bite, they do anything to keep the ball out of the goals. And you know, from defence, then when they get clear, they're able to walk the ball clear and kick long out of defence and turn defence into attack.
Goal kickers for Port Adelaide. Russell Ebert has 2 magnificent goals. How about Bomber Clifford's 2 goals in that first quarter from almost out past centre-half forward. Darryl Cahill, Tim Evans, David Granger and Craig Bradley. For Glenelg, Stephen Copping got a top goal in that first quarter into the breeze from a most acute angle, but Craig McDermott is the only other player to boot a major for the Bays. And as we've mentioned repeatedly, at half-time, Glenelg has real problems in the 1981 Grand Final, and we wonder what the mind of John Halbert has done at half-time in an endeavour to patch up the Bay side or to make the moves.
I can see Stephen Copping onto a wing. He's on Kinnear. Paul Weston looks like he's still in the middle, so there hasn't been a move there. McDermott's down on the half-forward line. McGuinness is still on the ground, and he's roving. He's in the forward pocket. So there's not a great deal of moves in.
From the Channel 9 helicopter, the 1981 Grand Final in South Australia. The second half underway. Port Adelaide 8-6, Glenelg 2-4. At the bounce, Johnson, Carey, Johnson gets it out. It's Clifford who puts Port Adelaide to the half-forward line. A high kick. Number 12 it is. Liu thumps away from behind into the path of Copping, but it's beautifully intercepted. Kinnear high into the air. Evans, Coleman. Evans can't bring it down. Bradley wants backup support, concedes ground, concedes 30 metres, but does it brilliantly as he gets the ball back to his captain in Brian Cunningham. A wise head on young shoulders. Cunningham chooses the left foot. Oh, it's not a good one off the side of his boot, but it's Darryl Cahill in there. Fine mark in front of Corns. Oh, he should never been able to take that one. Corns appeared to be set to fist the ball away, but Cahill has come to meet it, done it well, 30 metres out, head on to goal. Towards the lake end of Football Park, a very economical movement as he kicks for goal. He chips away his second. And Port Adelaide off to a great start in the second half. 9-6, they lead Glenelg 2-4.
He's amazing, Darryl Cahill. The kick from Cunningham was awful. Corns should have spoilt this ball. He certainly had a go at it, but Cahill marked it on his chest, and he's a veteran now, well over 250 games, Cahill. Port Adelaide 9-6, Glenelg 2-4.
Well, real danger signs now for Glenelg. That goal took only 55 seconds to Port Adelaide early in this third quarter. Marshall's kick is out wide. Clifford leads in the race for the ball, gets it over to Giles, in goes Corns and down goes Giles. Umpire indicating the Corns elbow is up and has played the free kick to the half-back flanker for Port Adelaide. Tony Giles, rock-like in defence, kicks long towards centre-half forward, setting himself as Holes, couldn't complete the mark. Sebo on the ground, tries to get it out, snared by Lahu, hands it over to McFarlane. McFarlane in turn to Painter. At half-back now he directs play towards centre wing, looking for Kernaghan. Over his head and Giles, coming through strongly Eckerman. Continuing on to that run was Eckerman, that left the football behind. Ebert gets dispossessed, Painter now to Pate. Chance for Glenelg to go forward. The long kick from Pate towards half-forward. Pumped back by Hughes, straight to Hoffner. Away goes the racehorse. Sweeps to his left foot, kicks it high towards centre wing. Ebert in front, Corns from behind, but Ebert again supreme, takes a great mark. He wastes no time. Looks for Granger. Takes setting from behind, again gets fist the ball. Good play. Marshall in a heap of trouble, is dumped by Granger. Now it's for Fleischer to Bradley. Has his kick smothered by Holst. Close to the line as McFarlane's after it. Cleverly gets it back to Holst. Holst to Carey. Forced to kick hurriedly and short. Cunningham. Now Martin will run straight into break. Throws the ball away to Ebert. Ebert away. Oh, magnificent football by Ebert. Thumps it into the square looking for Evans. Puts Coleman in the back. Off his hand and the ball dribbles through. I think the umpire with his hand in the air is indicating that there will be a free kick.
It's amazing, Russell Ebert. He's got very big hands and he puts the ball up in the air and the players watch the ball, not the body. That's why he gets away with it.
Back live, Coleman with the free kick, kicks to the outer side. Getting underneath the ball is Copping. As Peter Marker's told you, move to centre wing. It's only his fourth kick as he picks out Carey, the big fellow, numbers towards the half-forward line. Pushes out a pass, McGuinness, good mark. And the youngster has taken it about 40 metres out. He's gone for Rady in the pocket all, but he's put him on a most difficult angle. Rady not confident, plays on quickly and passes straight to the opposition in Hughes, who takes the mark about 3 metres out from goal.
A very undisciplined movement then, Ian. Didn't look like a champion side at all, Glenelg then. Ball
dropping short. Johnson takes it for Port Adelaide on the half-back line. Runs it to Cunningham, who in turn goes towards Martin at centre wing and takes it low to the turf. Martin looking to win a 15-metre penalty. His 11th kick is from the check side of the centre circle. He screws it to the half-forward line. Clifford making position well, has been paid that mark. The Bombers got it again, half-forward line, about 40 metres out. The two he kicked in the first quarter made it from here. Watch it in replay. Eyes on the ball the whole time, and nothing Copping could do. Clifford from about 55 metres out. The breeze at his back. He doesn't get this one away off the boot. Drops short. Holst in defence. McFarlane. In turn, McGuinness. Gets a B-grade bounce. Through came Evans. Left the football behind. Pake back in defence. McGuinness over the top of that player. And the umpire will come in and bounce in Port Adelaide's full forward right pocket.
Port Adelaide leading by 45 points. The bounce will be Pake. Corn's also there. Carey, Granger. Poor Pleasure tried to get the ball forward. Kinnear's taken off the ball. Through comes Cunningham under great pressure from McFarlane. Umpire Schofield indicates the ball is held to him, and there'll be a bounce. It's about 40 metres away from the Port Adelaide goal. Again, Granger takes it out of the air, has a flying shot for the goal, but as Wellerfline stuck, he's kicked straight out of bounds, and a penalty free kick to Glenelg.
Glenelg are going to have any chance. They've got to do something immediately, and look, Graham Corn showed the way a little while ago when he started using body. Glenelg have got to use body, and more importantly, they've got to run as far as they can and as long as they can.
Holst looks for Carey in front. Johnson from behind gets a big fist of the ball. Marshall left it behind. Cahill to Belton. Here's a chance. Belton sticks it up high. Evans and Coleman again. But the ball is offline as those two big fellas do battle in the square, and a minor score to Port Adelaide. 9-8 now, leading the Bays 2-4.
Keith Coleman. A nonchalant kick. That's his style to the half-back line. Ebert once again slips out the hand pass. Half-forward line, it's Cunningham, but that's very much offline. In fact, it'll be out of play on the full from the Port Adelaide winger. Kicks a lot of goals from centre wing as he breaks through the half-forward line. A very penetrating wingman.
If I was Paul Weston, I'd either go somewhere else or I'd be standing so close to Russell Ebert that I wouldn't give him a touch.
Stands next to him all week at work, Peter.
He's probably sick of him.
Kick in by Holst. The half-back flank. Players misread the flight of the ball. It goes towards the line. Kinnear in the action again, playing brilliantly. Left foot's run back towards the half-forward line. Poor Pleasure in front. Cahill off the fingers around the corner. Bradley, good mark. Gee, for a 17-year-old, he's playing with poise and balance. Experience that belies the years, and he's got a chance to boot his second goal in the 1981 Grand Final. 35 metres out. A difficult angle as the breeze is coming in from his left. Blustery conditions. The drop punt underway. He's threaded it through the middle. Oh, what balance. What talent. His second goal. And Port Adelaide go from strength to strength in the 81 Grand Final. 10-8, they lead the Bays 2-4.
Well, Daryl Cahill is starting to become a very effective player for Port Adelaide. His role in defence is, as the commentary team has pointed out, was extremely useful in the second quarter.
Carey took the ball out of the air, kicked it forward. McDermott couldn't handle it. Johnson, now the chance for the Bays as McGuinness kicks deep into the pocket. Getting back is used for Port Adelaide, gets an awkward bounce. Brady the chance in front, close to the line, being pressured. Out it comes to Painter, he's clear. Slips one in towards the square, but it's all Port Adelaide again. Two of them back there. And Tony Giles it is that takes the mark. Giles goes short to Warren, it's over his head. Clifford, oh, Marshall couldn't hold it. To ground, picked up by Warren, and he's clear. Has the luxury of two bounces. Now three, beautifully shepherded, two by Martin. 5 bounces had Lenny Warren, a great run from the back pocket. Kicks it to half forward, oh, great calling mark. Brian Cunningham, and this is champagne football by the Magpies. Cunningham goes high to the square, looks for Evans. Off hands, Daryl Cahill, dangerous, appeared to get tackled high. In goes Belton, but he's beset upon. An umpire made close to the action, elects on a bounce. Magnificent passage of play that by Port Adelaide. Ran the ball around the boundary line, and it culminated in the square with Port Adelaide. Bounce. Granger. McGuinness fist to the open spaces. Lahu leads, gets rolled to the ground. Cops are pushing the back and takes the free kick. Jimmy Lahua, big job to do in the back pocket for the Bays today. Brings it grandstand side, looking for Kernaghan. Right with him, however, is Greg Phillips. Very strong, very determined, and he pushes the ball out of play. 10-8 Port Adelaide, lead Glenelg 2-4.
At the throw-in, Carey and Johnson. Carey looked for McGuinness, took it himself. The big fellow can't get clear, but gets a kick away. Into touch at centre wing, and the ball goes out of play at the interchange gates. 10 minutes into the third quarter of the grand final. Johnson, Ebert at the back. He wants to be pulled back, but it's Carey who thumps it straight to Belton. Clifford, the bomber's clear, goes in long towards Evans. Right there with him is Coleman. Evans in front. Cahill trying to pick up the crumbs. The umpire over the top of the, or at least Coleman over the top of the players, and the umpire is going to rule a bounce 20 metres out in front of the Port Adelaide goal.
Kernaghan to full forward. Robbie Walton to centre half forward.
Hull stumps it away. Copping back in defence, trying to get the Bays into an attacking movement, and it's taken by Marshall. The Bay wingman being beaten in the 1981 grand final as he goes towards the half-forward line. Phillips reads the ball well, scoops it cleverly. Giles mishandles first attempt. Through goes Weston. He's surrounded by the Magpie. Guernsey slips it out. Beautifully done. Martin to the half-forward line. Granger. Bradley is clear. He's 20 metres clear of his opponent. But a short pass into the pocket. Cunningham can't pick it up. Over the top of the ball is Liu, and the umpire wants a bounce in the full forward left pocket with Port Adelaide in attack.
Well, if only David Granger had gone the other way, as you called it, Ian, he had Bradley all alone on the other flank. But he went left. Granger now taps it back to Corns. Corns to Marshall. Bay's trying to work the ball clear as Marshall screws back towards centre wing. Interference against Carey on this occasion by Russell Johnson, and the big super takes the free kick. Bays finding it difficult to get past centre half forward. They've made the change, as Peter Marker told you. This will be the 10th kick to Peter Carey. The kick into the centre of the ground is not a good one. It's gone straight to Ebert. Wants to play on. Sells the dummy with the handball. Now thumps it high into that open space. Right half forward flank, an awkward bounce for Pake, and Copping fell over. Butters up, however, recovered well. Slips it to McFarlane. He's in trouble. Needs support. Gets it now from Holst. Glenelg go forward. The kick looks for Weston at half forward, and he marks. Pinpointed pass, that one from David Holst, has found his skipper, Paul Weston. He swings in with the left foot, looking for Kernaghan, a line ball. And umpire Schofield quite wisely decides that it was a line ball, in fact, and will bounce at centre half forward. In replay, Weston swung away with that left foot. You can watch Kernaghan come in late. Oh, just about a 50-50 on it, both arms tightly tucked around it. McDermott kicks forward, gets bowled over in doing so. There's a penalty free, and here's a chance for the Bays. Peter Brown will take it. Port Adelaide fans go wild in amazement at the free kick. But from our point, it was obvious. Peter Brown. 30 metres out. Or rather, lackadaisical in his approach. And the result, not surprising, out of bounds on the full. And the Bay side can ill afford mistakes like that. Peter Martin.
Oh, they're definitely rattled. They don't know how to play good football at the moment. Port are playing superbly.
Completely dispirited at the moment of the Bays. Carey's looking for a free kick, but it's going the other way to Ivan Eckerman. The Port Adelaide strongman in the back pocket is going to take the free kick half-back flank. An experienced campaigner in finals football directs play towards midfield. In defence, McFarlane can't bring it down. Corns, Holst going past, but Corns kicks to the half-forward line where McGuinness takes the mark. The Bays very little method in attack at all. They're down 2-4 to 10-8. McGuinness high into the pocket. Kernaghan, the youngster can't bring it down as Hoffman pushes it out of bounds. Half-forward left flank. Inside the half-forward line. Kernaghan 42, Johnson 25. Phillips comes over the top in the scissors, but it's Weston who pushes them forward in towards the pocket. But once again, the ball is out of play in the full forward pocket and on the full, and a free kick will go the way of Danny Hughes.
Glenelg kicking and hoping their running players should be running up to the fall of the ball, but they're just not confident to do that.
Hughes high kick, almost marked by Carey, not paid. Players stag up and the umpire, no alternative but to bounce. Almost 14 minutes gone in the third quarter. Port Adelaide are 10-8 leading Glenelg 2-4. The bounce. Carey out wide, chance for Clifford. Run down by Painter, loses the ball close to the line. Two Glenelg players come straight into Clifford. And he's holding control very well today and playing brilliant football. Carey against Johnson. Bit of pushing and shoving. Which way is it going? It's going Port Adelaide's way. Carey's disgusted. But Russell Johnson will take the free kick. He's at centre wing. Slips it over to Clifford. Clifford's high kick to half forward is over the head of Kinnear. It wasn't Kinnear at all, it was Craig Bradley. David Holst couldn't get to it. And again, there'll be a throw-in. This time, right half forward flank in that dead pocket on the outer side. Pake for Glenelg and Granger for Port Adelaide. Pake gets the tap back. Corns is in there for Glenelg, as is Weston. Again, scrambling play and again a bounce. Almost 15 minutes gone. And the Bay's in a heap of trouble at the moment. Weston takes it clear, gives it to Carey. His kick is to the outer side, looking for the safety of the line. They need to do more than that. Johnson lumbers after it, being tackled by Walter. McDermott on the ground tries to keep it in play. He's thrown aside by Giles. Back it comes down to Painter. A hurried kick forward is in towards centre-half forward. Peter Brown caught with the ball, loses it. Socket off the ground by Corns, but it's gone straight to the Port Adelaide defender in Danny Hughes, and he's playing strongly, Ian Dave.
Playing very well, as is the whole Port Adelaide defence, David. The kick is high. Weston can't bring it down. Thumped away now by Marshall. Brown sockers off the ground. Rady into the pocket. Hughes gives chase as well. He's got too much pace for Rady, and the tackle is clumsy. And the youngster, who showed once again maturity beyond his years, in as much that he played for that free kick and did it well. 17 years of age. Kick off the side of his boot. That's not a good one. Walter can't get there. Giles has got the pace to go in front of him. Boots it towards centre wing. Copping's there. On the lead is Cunningham. The ball goes towards that player. He's underneath it. Hoffner there as well. Taken by Rady. McGuinness wants it in short. It goes in towards that player. But the Bays under pressure are not kicking well at all. And again, we see the ball tumble out of play. Cunningham against Johnson at the throw-in, about 15 metres around from the Bay goal. Cunningham taps, Painter, McDermott, Walter, but Ebert. Cool under pressure. That handball wasn't so good. Johnson never had a chance, but Ebert butters up again. Beautiful control of the ball as he comes through the half-back line, sells the puppet well, drives to the centre wing. The bounce is not a good one. Gives Marshall a chance. Kicks to the vacant half-forward line.
Weston is at Peter Brown rather in pursuit, but the ball dribbles out of play. Right half forward flank for the Bays.
It's the best big game I've ever seen Russell Ebert play. He is totally in control, and he's leading Port Adelaide beautifully.
Johnson, an easy tap, but it's snared by McGuinness, doing well since coming onto the ground. His long kick in towards the spare. Port Adelaide supreme in defence again as Ivan Eckerman takes the timely mark. His kick to the outer side, searches for Kinnear. The ball sits up for him, run down by Copping, gets out of trouble, gets a high tackle and takes the free kick. Copping having a disastrous game today. The 12th kick by Kinnear, looks wide for Clifford. Good tumbling mark by the bomber, and he's got it at centre wing. Glenelg faltering under pressure. Port Adelaide playing great football. Clifford towards the pocket. Carey back there, flies against Pake, not paid. Seabohm, Holst leaves it behind. Really crumbling at the moment as the ball's kicked out wide. Corns close to the line, needs support. Being shepherded, and well shepherded on that occasion. Kicks with his left foot and finds Weston. Glenelg certainly need to get into attack quickly. Weston towards half forward. Oh, again, a terrible kick by the captain of Glenelg, Paul Weston, has gone straight to Tony Giles at centre half back. Giles, high kick. Johnson in front of Marshall. David in the last situation there, 6'5.5" against 5'9", and the big fella takes it easily. Gives it to Ebert. Ebert slips it over to Paul Fleischer at centre half forward. Thumps one into the pocket, looking for Evans. Behind Coleman, he's got it. 3 attempts and it's been paid. No, it's not. Called on by umpire Mead, and now there'll be a bounce. Quite a debatable mark, Peter Martin.
Well, he did it to Graham Corns early in the game, and he's consistent here because his view is, and he's quite correct, Coleman touched the ball, and that's the way he paid it.
Back live, and Big Keith Coleman has fisted the ball through for a point to Port Adelaide. They're 10-9 now, leading Glenelg 2-4.
Played 19 minutes of the third quarter. Coleman, about the only player who's winning the key position. Big leap there by Portpecia, not successful. Taps it out to Cunningham, but in the interim, a free kick has been ruled to Andy Portpecia, and the Port Adelaide ruck rover to take it from the half-forward right flank. All Port Adelaide at the moment, although they're not making much headway in this quarter, they've still got a commanding lead. Off the fingers, it is thumped through for a point. And another one to Port Adelaide, completely in control, 10-10-70 to 2-4 Glenelg, and their lead is the biggest for the game, 54 points.
Glenelg, there's John Cahill, the Port Adelaide coach. He would no doubt be extremely happy. Glenelg haven't scored this quarter. Port Adelaide have kicked 2-4.
Coleman goes short, but that's not his usual standard. Cleverly tapped on, however, by Weston. Goes after it again. Has one bounce, now steadies. Let's see if he can use the ball properly. Looks for Cunningham. Hoffner came in from the side. Desperation defence by Port Adelaide. Get the ball clear. Snared by Brown. Tries to get it back to Marshall. He's in trouble. Nobody to give him help. Finally, it's Glenn Warren for Port Adelaide. Takes it at half-back. Oh, a beautiful pass to Belton. Belton has Cunningham running for him. Slips it to him. Cunningham into the pocket. Evans on a lead. Takes the ball. Bursts out of the pack. And his left foot kick doesn't really do justice to the passage of play by Port Adelaide. He stuck it straight out of bounds on the full. Coleman, the recipient of the free, goes high. Oh, but a bad kick. It's gone straight to two Port Adelaide players. They mess it up on this occasion. Pake's handball is not a good one. It's come to Cunningham. Lahu tries to get it clear. McFarlane forced to kick hurriedly at centre wing. Martin gets an awkward bounce. 3 against 1, however. Ebert the support. Tucks it under his arm and away he goes. Goes long into the square. Port Adelaide play at the back. Oh, great mark and great play. I think it's young Bradley on the 10-metre line. It is indeed. 17-year-old Craig Bradley has the mark, only 10 metres out. Port Adelaide supreme. Ebert doing everything right in the centre. In just about every scene of action, there's 3 Port Adelaide players to 1. Bradley's 7th kick. He's already kicked 2 goals. He fires for his third, and he's made no mistake. And Port Adelaide go from strength to strength. 11-10, Glenelg 2-4.
Painter that puts the Bays to the half-forward line. Warren playing brilliantly on the half-back line. Boots long for Port Adelaide into the vacant forward pocket. But there it's Seabohm in defence. Pushes one towards centre wing, copping the recipient. Gets out the pass. McGuinness on a long lead. Gets round Ackerman. Chips out the pass. Finds Rady. The Bays into attack now. Weston kicks long in towards full forward. Getting back is Hughes. But once again, the Bays attacks. Very little method in them. Under pressure the whole time. And it's only a point again to the Bays side.
Probably the best passage of play, though, Ian, that we've seen from the Bays. Their handball along that outer side.
First semblance of passage, I'd agree there, David.
Hughes kick out. Portpecia dishes it out wide. Martin concedes ground but gets it to Giles. Plenty of time to steady. Ebert unattended again. Weston too far away from him. Around Weston he goes. Oh, playing a great game, Ebert. Chips in a short one to Belton, just wide of him with the ball set up for him, close to the line. Gets a hurry kick forward, but the boundary umpire indicates that as he went to get the kick, it was out of play, or was it a push? No, it's a free kick, I do believe, going Port Adelaide's way. It is indeed Paul Belton to take it. He's at half-forward left. Wanted to get the handball over to Martin, decides to kick into the pocket. Evans up in that pack, can't take the mark, and the ball forced out of bounds. Just 30 metres away from Port Adelaide's goal. We're approaching time on in the third quarter, and even at this stage it looks all Port Adelaide. Clifford tore his way through there. The kick wobbled off the side of the boot, however, Copping the chance, being held from behind, must get the free. Copping has 2 players running for him. There's McFarlane and Holst. Holst got an awkward bounce. It rebounds to McFarlane, sends it back in the direction of Holst, but Port Adelaide are too quick. Every opportunity that Glenelg get, Port Adelaide pounce on them, and on this occasion they're forced it out of play.
Vader back on the ground. Nat with him. Nat gets a tap away again in defence. McDermott finds it hard to get a handball. Vader to Holst is good play. Now to Painter towards centre wing. Getting underneath the ball there is Corns, with him Giles. Brilliantly taken by Warren of Port Adelaide. Fires one out towards the half-forward line. Marshall can't half-volley the ball. Still in there trying to get the ball clear. Weston through. Martin on top. Rady, player stack up, and the umpire will come in and bounce. 11-10 Port Adelaide to 2-5 Glenelg. Into time on now of the third quarter. Thumped forward by McDermott to the half-forward line. McGuinness there, Corns the opportunity now for the base. Puts it high, Carey and Hughes. Youth versus experience, and Youth wins out. Did it beautifully. Hughes strength with strength, and repels with a long kick towards the grandstand side, and Brown, his eyes not on the ball, took out Belton. The umpire allows the racehorse to go through. Hoffner rebounds off the half-back line with a long kick to his half-forward line. McFarlane can't take it. Kinnear can. Shies one in at goal, but it's going to be well offline for 1 point only to Port Adelaide. 11-11, they lead the Bays 2-5.
And Danny Hughes has come of age, played a tremendous game, and the Port Adelaide defenders, they're taking off and kicking long.
Seabohm receives the kick out from Holst. He elects to go short to Paig. It's dangerous. Run down by 3 Port Adelaide players. They've muffed it. Granger, a golden opportunity from 45 metres out. Steadies, fires in. All but well offline was David Granger, and another bad mistake in defence by Glenelg gave him a great opportunity to score. He couldn't quite cope with the situation, and it's Paig to the outer side, looking for Copping. Off hands, Painter. Running the ball out of defence. Chips in short, the lead towards half forward. Snared by Peter Brown, swings to the left foot. Chips in a short pass towards Rady, but again Port Adelaide's defence, again supreme, and Tony Giles this time takes the mark. Giles directs play grandstand side. 2 Port Adelaide players against one once more. Ebert comes away with it. Goes short, looking for Evans. One-on-one battle. Coleman and the full forward neither get fist the ball. It goes past both of them, and again out of play. This time the right forward pocket, just 15 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal. We've played 26, almost 27 minutes. Port Adelaide 11-11 lead, Glenelg 2-5.
Vader against Evans. Neither get their eye onto the ball. Clifford, McFarlane. On the ground is Vader, and the umpire will come in and bounce 20 metres out in front of the Port Adelaide goal. A huge crowd witnessing a fine exhibition of football from Port Adelaide, but unfortunately the contest is not all that great. McGuinness, his 5th kick, or at least it's a handball. It goes to Weston. A long kick, looking out there for Corns. With him is Phillips. Corns recovers well, has to give the handball away in a hurry. Straight to Nat. Nat towards midfield again. Nat man's in it. Ebert across to Cahill. Cahill in towards full forward. Granger up. Can't bring it down. Seabohm under pressure. And the umpire pings him for holding the ball. Nothing goes right for the Bays. 25 metres out in front. And a free kick is going the way of Tony Martin, is it? Yes. 25 metres out in front. There's the siren to end the third quarter. 28 minutes we've played. Martin towards the lake end. Kick underway. His first goal. And Port Adelaide at three-quarter time in the 1981 Grand Final has got a commanding, maybe match-winning lead, 12-11 to Glenelg's 2-5. Port Adelaide 12-10, Glenelg is 2-5. David Darcy, well, certainly the Bays didn't learn much from that quarter in as much that their attack was still indirect, and the Port Adelaide defence job was made much more easy through it.
Yes, but they have been great, that Port Adelaide defence. They are relentless, as Mike Coward said. The whole club is relentless. There were a couple of passages of play in that third quarter where the Bays did look better. One, they brought it right around the outer flank and only scored a point from it, but there haven't been enough running players for Glenelg, enough ball carriers to get the ball into their forward line quickly enough, Ian.
Right, time now to move down to KG.
Thank you very much, Ian. Yes, certainly disappointing performance by the Tigers. They've shown a lack of desire, and this was the case, of course, in the second semi-final when they played Port Adelaide. But I, for one, perhaps felt they may have turned the corner with their performance against Norwood in the prelim final, but that wasn't the case. Just looking at the stats, so far as both sides are concerned, firstly for Port Adelaide, the marks, they've got 30, handballs are 63, and the frees for the Magpies are 26. From the Tigers' point of view, they've got 28 marks in comparison to Port Adelaide's 30. 77 handballs from the Tigers in comparison to Port Adelaide's 63, which is certainly interesting, and one could say that perhaps Glenelg haven't used the ball as effectively as the Port Adelaide side, and the frees there, line ball once again, the frees 28 and compared to Port Adelaide's 26. But they're the stats so far in the game. Looking at the goal kickers so far, and there haven't been too many for the Tigers, unfortunately kicking 2 goals, 5. For Port Adelaide, Bradley has kicked 3. Craig Bradley, a tremendous footballer, only 17 years of age. And of course you heard Kevin Sheedy a few moments ago make mention the fact that Essendon are looking very closely at this youngster. Clifford and Ebert have each kicked 2, and what a fine performance by Russell Ebert in the middle. Cahill, Evans, Granger and Martin all kicking 1, and for the Tigers, Copping and McDermott each have kicked a goal. But certainly a fine performance by the Magpies, and of course their centre line once more in Martin, Ebert and Cunningham have controlled the game. Let's now take you back to the commentators, Ian Day, David Darcy and Peter Marker.
Thank you, KG. Port Adelaide at three-quarter time, receiving final instructions from their coach John Cahill in the middle there, a former champion himself, and going for 3 premierships straight. David, I don't think, and I agree with Peter Marker, that I've ever seen Russell Ebert play a better game of football in a final series. He hasn't played some big matches in finals or interstate games. We've known him as a champion club player, but this is certainly an exception.
Yes, he has been criticised in some circles for his lack of endeavour and lack of leadership in finals games, Ian, but by gee, showing his critics severely today. He's had 14 kicks, 10 handballs and 3 marks. A great performance in the pivot, and a controlling game, and 2 goals to boot, of course, and two great goals.
Ball Park, Port Adelaide 65 points in front. The Channel 9 helicopter showing you the magnificent scene that is Football Park. A crowd of well in excess of 40,000, perhaps up towards 50,000. And as we get to, or about to get the final quarter underway of the 1981 Grand Final, your commentator David Darcy.
65 points is the lead for Port Adelaide as the last quarter commences. Is this going to be 3 successive Grand Finals to the Magpies? Glenelg go forward towards centre-half forward, but this time in defence it's Greg Phillips, stemming the tide and going out wide, searching for Clifford and finds him. Port Adelaide with possession football at the moment. Clifford with his 18th kick, a short one, and finds Martin. Around he comes, onto the right foot. He's had 14 kicks. Towards centre-half forward, this one goes. Chance for Port Adelaide. The captain, Brian Cunningham, chips into the pocket, looking for Craig Bradley, but the kick was too wide of him and has gone out of play. Port Adelaide led by 35 points at quarter time, by 39 points at half time, and they lead by 65 points at the moment. Throw in. Cunningham takes possession again, forced to kick hurriedly, but he finds teammate Paul Belton, the diving mark. He plays on to poor Pleasure. The shot in towards goal is offline, off the side of the boot. Evans and Coleman do battle once more. Coleman gets his head pulled off. No free kick. McFarlane gets it clear to Copping. Copping along centre wing. Awkward bounce for Corns. Now it sets up for him. Corns forced to go to the left footer. Hurry kick is not effective. Sitting underneath the ball is Denny Hughes, and he takes a relieving mark for the Magpies. Glenelg having trouble getting system into their game. Forced to kick hurriedly on most occasions and getting no penetration whatsoever. Carey. The big fellas tried valiantly against big odds. 2 players jumping against him for most of the day. His kick towards centre-half forward, lurking at the back of the pack was Phillips. Another beautiful pass, this time grandstand side to Kinnear.
Kinnear, check side of centre wing, wobbles one to the half-forward line. McFarlane can't bring it down. The patient Paul Pleasure gets in there first under pressure. The handball out to Granger, been intercepted by Seabohm, who returns the ball to his half-forward line. Rady's got it. Put in a quiet one, kicks long in towards Walter at full forward, can't bring it down, and it's all Port Adelaide back there. Although Cahill makes a mistake, Giles does it well as he comes straining out of defence, kicks high back towards midfield. Underneath the ball is Corns, who takes a fine mark in front of Clifford. Corns, just the attack side of the centre circle, kicks long and direct, although the ball is dropping very quickly. Port Adelaide defence in control again as Phillips sweeps out a handball to Eckerman. McGuinness gives chase, has the pace to get there first. Under pressure out there, back to Copping, high into the pocket, but it's not well directed. And once again we see a Glenelg attack flounder in the full back left pocket. Hughes, the anxious face of John Cahill and Stephen Highwood, the 2 Bay coaches. Almost a forlorn look at the moment. What can you do? Port Adelaide towards centre wing. Out of play. 12-10 the Magpies. 2-5 Glenelg.
Throw in out of side. Radar number 40. 25 is Johnson. 7, of course, is Russell Ebert. Johnson from front. Carey came from behind. McGuinness tapped it wide and out of play once more.
Bob Pake at centre-half forward now for Glenelg. Back pocket man Seabohm at centre-half back. Changes are plenty, but Glenelg need more than changes. They need to start playing football.
Weston tried to get it to Holst, but has been intercepted by Clifford. She's played well today, Clifford. Kicks towards half forward. LaHoo's there, also Portlesia for the Magpies. His left foot kick is into the pocket. Evans leads Coleman to the ball, but Coleman takes it away from him. Gets a good and effective handball back to LaHoo. LaHoo thumps it towards centre wing. Carey appeared to get to the back of Johnson. The crumbs to Weston, turns out of trouble, now drives towards centre-half forward, looking for Walter, but from behind, almost a mark to Port Adelaide. He's going the other way, in fact. Robbie Walter has been paid the mark at centre-half forward. A little doubtful in my mind. I thought the Port Adelaide defender in Hoffner may have touched the ball first, but umpire Schofield in a much better position than we are as Walter shoots towards goal. It's got the distance okay. Has he got the accuracy? He has indeed. And finally the Bays get a goal. It's taken the Majors, it's only their third. It's Robbie Walters' first and came at the 4-minute mark of the last quarter. Glenelg 3-5, Port Adelaide 12-10. Peter Marker.
Well, the Bays got one in the first quarter, one in the second, none in the third, and they've got their first in the last. But apart from the slight possibility of winning the game, they've got to put respectability into their camp. Their supporters want it, the team should want it.
Carey gets a bad bounce. In actual fact, Belton gets the thump away to McGuinness, who's showed a lot of pace since he's come onto the ground. Towards centre wing, wins the free kick in front of Cunningham. And this is what the Bays have badly needed all afternoon. There's a bit of run. McGuinness, perhaps a surprise selection into the 20 in place of the more experienced Hamilton, gets kick number 7 to the half-forward line. And there the umpire has paid the mark to Greg Phillips at centre-half back. He elects to kick to the dead pocket on the outer side. Clifford out there waiting his opportunity. Eckerman provided the run. In fact, he's still providing it. That's the way the ball will travel. His 20th kick, Clifford. Eckerman can't bring it down. Into the action comes Granger. Well out from his centre-half forward spot. Back towards the position that he left. Belton in front. Pushed out of it now by Corns. No, vice versa. Corns pushed out of it. And he gets the free kick centre-half back. Kicks long to the half-forward line. And there it is, Clifford again. No pressure being put on to the Port Adelaide defence at all. They're taking the marks almost unopposed.
Clifford with the ball. Keeps it close to the line out of side. Kept it too close, in fact, and put it over the line. A free kick to John Seabohm. Playing at centre-half back now for the Bays. Chris Vadar leaving the ground for Glenelg. Seabohm's kick into the centre finds Carey. Wants to get the handball going, but forced to kick. Looks for Rady. Warren cuts across him. Topping comes in for the Bays. It's socketed off the ground, and McGuinness running wide, swings it back with his left foot. Oh, great attempt by young McGuinness. Didn't quite bring it back enough. And a minor score only to the Bays. They're 3-6. Port Adelaide are 12-10 as we approach the 7-minute mark of the final term.
Young Tony McGuinness has done well, Peterson's coming on.
Yes, he's the type of player in these conditions, Ian. 17 years of age, but he plays the ball along the ground very well.
Hoffner's kick in is to the outer side. Carey gets back to it. Can't get the ball effectively to a teammate. Martin to Johnston. Back to Bradley to Martin. Off the side of his boot, and it will go out of bounds on the full. All the real sting got out of the game as Port Adelaide control it easily. Back in defence, it was Cahill going through McDermott. He gets through well now. The Bays into attack up towards full forward. Kernaghan back on the ground, but over the top, Danny Hughes. Fine mark of defence. And Port Adelaide can do no wrong. A tremendous performance. A long kick by Hughes to the outer side. Another mark. Martin again. Elects to play on. Finds Belton unopposed. In turn, the running player, Cahill, sits beautifully for him. Over the half-forward line, go Port Adelaide. On the lead is Evans. Beautifully intercepted Coleman. Portlesia back to Evans. Gets it onto his boot quickly up towards full forward. Cunningham can't get the ball clear. Working the ball into the pocket. Liu right there with him. The Port captain goes back, throws out a handball, more in hope than anything, and Coleman clears to the outer side.
David Holst in the race for the ball. sitting on its end close to the line, but Holst takes it over now. Great opportunity that. Good teamwork again by Port Adelaide to work that ball forward. Seaburn up against Granger. Granger takes it at the second attempt, gets the handball back to Ebert. Ebert uses the left foot on, uses it beautifully. Magnificent pass from Russell Ebert. Spotted Cahill on his own at centre-half forward. And Darryl Cahill, the chance to bring up Port Adelaide's 13th goal. Chips away, holding up in the breeze, won't quite make the distance. Evans got it to Cunningham. Forced to hurry, his kicks put it straight up in the air. McFarlane against Belton, play on the call. Poor Cleisha gets it back to Ebert, puts him in trouble, tackled by Painter. It was Granger, in fact, and now a free kick has been picked out by the umpire against David Granger and will go to Snout McFarlane.
That was for excessive use of his head, I think, David. He sort of burrowed his head and tried to go straight through him.
McFarlane goes straight up the middle of the ground, looks for Copping, can't handle it. Johnson to Clifford, in trouble. Kinnear turns out of the pack, throws the ball to Belton. Cleverly to Clifford. Clifford from half forward right, puts it high into towards the square. It's drifting across the face of goals. And there's a Glenelg to mark in defence, taken by Seaburn. John Seaburn to relieve the pressure momentarily for the Bows.
The kick is not a good one, dropping short in front of Marshall. Martin gives chase. He's beaten Marshall easily today, Martin. Marshall's kick is high towards centre wing. That man again, best man on the ground, Russell Ebert. Half forward flank. Carey over the mark. Ebert's got time. Distributes the ball to Belton in the pocket. And that's something that he's been marvellous at all afternoon. And that's bringing other teammates into the game. Paul Belton, 45 metres out from goal, won't make the distance into this breeze. A nice looking drop punt up into it. Coleman back there and goes for the safety of the line. That'll be a free kick, I would think. I don't know whether he tried to concede a point or what happened, but umpire Schofield is in. He's going to award a free kick against Coleman, I believe. It will go in the forward pocket to Craig Bradley. No, he's giving it across to Tim Evans. And of course, Evans has 97 goals for the 1981 season. It would be nice to get 100 in their premiership year. That's indeed assuming Port Adelaide is going to win. But Evans has got to get 3 on this last quarter. A chance from 20 metres out. The angle's most acute. Into the breeze. He's got it. Goal number 98. His second for the game. And Port Adelaide still increasing their lead into the wind in this last quarter. 13-10, they lead Glenelg 3-6.
10 leading Glenelg 3-6 as we approach the 12-minute mark of this final term. At the bounce, the players on the outer side in that dead pocket. Nobody can get the ball clear. And again, the umpire forced to bounce.
In your screen there is Trevor Sorrell. He's the normal Port Adelaide full-back who was suspended for 1 game in the second semi-final. Unfortunately for him, he's had to miss the big one for Port Adelaide, and it looks like being a premiership game. Poor Cleisha. Drop punt to the half-forward line. It's going well out of play on the full. And a crowd of 52,659 people at Football Park to witness Port Adelaide's supremacy in the 81 grand final. Even over the top again. Oh, this fella's rejuvenated. Monkey glands. He's still fighting on in this last quarter. Have a look at this for a 32-year-old player. He's got to be as fit as anybody on the ground, and what a sensational game he's played. Russell Ebert, check side of centre wing, forwards the ball towards his half-forward line, looking out there for Granger. He's got it, casual as you like. You either love him or you hate him, and he's certainly a very popular figure down at Albert and Oak. That's the home of the Port Adelaide people. High kick in towards the forward pocket. A fine mark pulled down by Liu. I think it's going to be paid, and he'll repel this Port Adelaide attack. Jim Liu from the full-back right pocket.
Outer side, Football Park. Liu kicks high towards centre wing. Weston up against Ebert. Comes back to Weston. Carey, in fact, had handed the ball to him, and he's been pinged for a throw.
It's twice it's happened today, David, that Peter Carey's gone for throwing the ball. He's got a bit of a suspect action.
Chris Nat warms up on the sideline for Port Adelaide. A free kick again to Ebert at centre wing. This will be his 20th kick. A great display of football by Russell Ebert today. Into the pocket. Oh, he's found Granger again. Granger to Bradley. Away go Port Adelaide. He's running into the pocket. Steadies now. Fires in towards goal and it's hit the post. Beautiful build-up that by Port Adelaide. Ebert first, to Granger, to Bradley, but he's hit the post. 13-11 Port Adelaide, Glenelg 3-6.
Coleman screws the ball towards the half-back line. Copping gets pushed out underneath it. Kinnear through, leaves the football behind. Warren, who's had a fine game for Port Adelaide, but hasn't their whole defence played well. Forces the ball out of play, half-forward, right flank. They've rebounded tremendously well. Johnson against Carey. Carey hooks it back to McGuinness, who got a bad bounce. It's Cahill's kick that goes to the half-forward line. Granger again. Too good for Simone. Too strong in the air. That's his third mark in as many minutes. And this time he's got a chance to boot it himself. He's about 40 metres out. It's his 10th kick, but he's into the strong breeze as Russell Johnson leaves the arena. A massive kick by Granger. The wind takes it right across the face of goal, and it's out of bounds on the full. Gee, that went away, possibly at least 30 metres, and that gives us an idea of just how strong that breeze is coming in from the southwest.
A tremendous game by David Granger. Beaten in the first quarter, but midway through the second quarter, he came into it.
Coleman's kick to the outer side. There's been an infringement of 3 kicks going Port Adelaide way. And I think it's the man who knows it's Tony Martin on this occasion to get it. Got ridden to the ground, has obviously got some problem with his leg as he skips back to take the free kick. Nothing wrong with his kicking action as he goes short to Clifford. Dodges the tackle, puts it high in towards the square, looking for Evans and Granger. It's over everybody's head. Is it being touched or is it a goal? Oh, it's a goal! Another goal to Port Adelaide. They're 14-11, leading Glenelg 3-6. We've played 16 minutes and the game is over, Peter Marker.
Certainly is, David. 14-11, Port Adelaide, Glenelg 3-6.
Kerry at centre half back. His 14th kick. Been one of the Bay's better players, but gee, didn't find anyone with that one. Warren, 13th kick to the half-forward line. Paul Peace is there. Gets a beautiful bounce, supported by Belton. McFarlane making life hard for him. In there is Paul Peace again, crawling after it. McGuinness back in defence for the Bays. Screws it around the corner. Weston takes it well. He was nearly decapitated. Strides off over centre wing. Kicks in long towards Cunningham. Pushed away from that player by Hoffner, who finally takes the ball out of defence for Port Adelaide. Returns the ball towards centre wing. McGuinness is there. Oh, what a fine mark. Brilliantly done by the youngster. And gee, what a performance he's put up since coming into the game after the half-time. It's his 9th kick, David Darcy.
Let's have a look at young McGuinness in replay. A great falling mark, and his ball handling is very sure. His kick looks for Kernaghan at the back of the pack. Cahill. Port Adelaide running the ball out of defence very easily as Cahill high kick comes into the centre of the ground. Cunningham up before acceptances. The ball's been tapped on by Lahu in the direction of Pawns. Pawn chips out a pass. Granger behind play. Oops. He's in trouble. Umpire Schofield comes in to talk to him, but the action at the other end of the ground. Kernaghan goes up, can't take the mark. Players stack up. And the umpire will bounce about 30 metres away from the Glenelg goal. Peter Marker, David Granger spoken to by umpire Schofield behind play.
Yes, he could be in trouble, David, because I think the umpire saw what he did.
Weston took it out of the air, snapped in towards goal, but the Glenelg captain is well offline and he's put it out of bounds on the full.
Peter, I don't think that the Bays have had one winning forward. I certainly can't think of a player who's been on top all day.
No, I think you're right, Ian, and possibly Coolman may have won honours against Evans, although perhaps just about a break even. Apart from that, I don't think the Bays have had a winner at all.
Out of bounds, out of side. There's Johnny Cahill. He must be feeling very, very elated at the moment.
Certainly doesn't look it.
3-6 Glenelg. Port Adelaide are 14-11. Port Adelaide certainly home and hosed in the 1981 Grand Final. Painter tried to work the ball clear. Bradley's there for Port Adelaide, but there'll be another throw in that dead pocket. Rucks gathering. Carey against Nat. Nat came on moments ago to replace Johnson. Bradley accepts the ball close to the line. Takes his time, wobbles one short. Not a good kick by young Craig Bradley, and again the ball out of play.
Magnificent performance, John Cahill. When you look at his record, if Port get up this year, it's his 4th premiership in 5 years.
At the throw-in, Nat gets the tap away. Hulse gets it. The handball is to Weston. Hooks the ball to the half-forward line. Oh, Eckerman makes one of his few mistakes for the afternoon. McGuinness comes out with the football, hooks around the corner, but it's not a good attempt. And it's Hughes with the opportunity. In fact, he can fumble with the first one. and get it clear with the second. Towards Cahill. 3-on-1 there. Copping comes out with the ball. Look for his skipper in Weston. He can't get the ball. He does it the second attempt, but the umpire will come in and bounce on the half-forward line of the Bays. 14-11, Port Adelaide, 3-6 Glenelg, and the Magpies have got it scummed to pieces. Tap away by Phillips. Marshall high in towards full forward. The Bays set themselves. Here's a chance now. Almost a mark, not paid to Walter. The Bays just can't hang on to that football this afternoon. And once again, umpire Peter Mead will come in and bounce.
71 points is the lead to Port Adelaide. A few of the Bay supporters starting to leave the ground. We had a fantastic crowd, 52,659 to witness this Port Adelaide premiership in 81. They're out of defence again towards centre wing. McFarlane the opportunity. Chips in a short pass towards centre half forward and has found Painter. Johnny Painter been relatively quiet today. From centre half forward. 45 metres out, puts it on its way. It's going very close to the line. Distance was okay, but the accuracy not quite so good. It's gone offline for a minor score. Glenelg lamenting at 3-7 to Port Adelaide's 14-11.
Peter Hoffner. To the outer side, a long drop punch. That's a good kick into the breeze. Seabohm off the pack. Back to Carey at centre wing. Hooks around the corner. Once again, the Port Adelaide defence playing in front, and Greg Phillips takes it in front of Pate. Phillips goes for Kinnear, quickly plays on to the moving Clifford. The bounce has got a good one. Rady could cut him off. Clifford looking for the free kick by playing the ball in front of him. Sockers it cleverly, gives Warren the opportunity. Eckerman supports him, but Warren kicks in towards the forward pocket. Granger there with Corns. Granger needs support. Oh, he's got the pace to bounce it. Dummies well, now he gets the support. Kinnear, short to Belton, and that's great football, Port Adelaide. Beautifully done, David Granger. He breaks into the pocket. Evans on the lead, in that pocket. Wants Granger. The handball goes out. Corns disposes of Granger, and it's going to be Liu who clears across the face of goal and will go close to the line. In fact, it will tumble out of play in the left full forward pocket. As Peter Marker says, Granger's second half has been superb after Pate did an excellent job on him in the first half. Nat gets out the handball, but it was to McFarlane. McGuinness, Seabohm, centre half back, long kick to the half forward line. Cunningham comes to meet it, and the youngster's got it at centre half forward. Short, Painter, good lead, good pass, and Painter's got it 45 metres out. He missed with his last attempt at goal. Kick number 17 to Johnny Painter. A long kick is going to be successful this time. He's got it. His first goal. And the Tigers' tail is still fluttering, or still wagging. But they're down 4-7 to Port Adelaide's 14-11.
Good performance, Johnny Painter. It was his 17th kick and brought up his first goal. But what a performance, Port Adelaide. When Mark Williams went to Collingwood and Milan Athletic to St Kilda, people thought they'd go down, but they're probably even a better unit this year than last year.
Copping takes the ball out of the air, swings the handball wide to Marshall. Marshall slips it back to Corns under pressure, drives towards centre half forward. Port Adelaide supreme back there once more. See to have players running loose in defence, and this time it's Daryl Cahill that takes the mark. Cahill with his 10th kick has it at half back. Belton's on a lead wide. Chips it in short. Weston in front. The opportunity to play on. Has a bounce. 45 metres out from goal. Weston puts one on its way. Length is okay. It's drifting across the face, however. And a minor score to Glenelg rather. They're 4-8. Port Adelaide are 14-11 as we approach time on, and Port Adelaide are the premiers.
Must be very disappointed, Captain Paul Weston. Russell Ebert's played a dominating role in the middle, but Paul Weston's picked up 21 kicks. He hasn't stopped trying, but it's all over bar the shouting here at the moment, Ian.
Belton, Martin, Peter, I think it's been over since a lot earlier. In fact, a magnificent first quarter by Port Adelaide when they kicked 6-5 for goal, and that's set the seal on their win in 1981. Granger and Corns, a bit of byplay here, but look at the superb judgment and balance of David Granger. He's got the ball on the half-forward line. A long kick in towards full forward. Evans in there again. Gets up high, but underneath the ball. Coolman thumps it towards the line. In goes Marshall. Poor Pleaser grubbers for it, but the ball goes out over the line. There's the Thomas Seymour Hill trophy for the Premier side, and it looks like having Port Adelaide's name on it for the 3rd time straight. Towards the half-forward line. Belton, Bradley, copping over the top, but the umpire will come in and bounce inside the half-forward line about 35 metres out. Traffic starts to streaming away now from Football Park as spectators leave, knowing that Port Adelaide has got the 1981 premiership well and truly won. McGuinness with his 11th kick goes long to the half-forward line. Once again, Hughes thumps away. Rady comes in for the crumbs. Traps it well, but runs into a dead heat. Cunningham, Pake, across the Western. Half-forward line, Peter Brown, 40 metres out, steady, shoots long, goal! Beautifully done, but if only the Bays could have done that earlier in the day, their score might have been a little bit better at the moment. Peter Brown boots his first, and the Bays move on now to 5-8 to Port Adelaide's 14-11.
Amazingly, Glenelg started to run, but far too late. Western, Brown, comes from Fitzroy. Peter Brown kicked his first goal. 5-8 Glenelg, Port at 14-11.
At the centre bounce, Port Adelaide go forward again through Nat towards Granger. Bradley there as well, but Granger now completely in command to centre half forward towards Evans. The crowd want him to get his 100 goals for the year. Time running out. Coolman certainly doesn't want him to get it. Liu gets away a handball. McFarlane soccers off the ground towards the half-back line. Cunningham, poor Pleaser, sweeps out wide. Kinnear, Evans in the square waiting for it, but it's going right over his head. Belton getting back with it, as is Holst, and I think a free kick is going against Paul Belton, and it'll be taken by David Holst in the full-back right pocket. Cahill, I don't know what he's holding his head down for, Peter Marker. He's got nothing to worry about at all.
Might be having a quiet prayer of thanks, I think, Ian. The kick into the centre of the ground, Paul Weston interfered with. He'll take the free kick, and kick number 23, Paul Weston. A good effort from a man that's beaten in the middle. Brown put one hand up, that's not good enough, but recovered well to Cunningham. Glenelg are looking best they have all day, but obviously far too late. Lenny Warren picks up, can't get his boot to the ball. Dives on it again, magnificent defensive work, Port Adelaide. Brown off the ground. Gee, they're a chance here again, Glenelg. Marshall sets sail for home. He's got one. That's his first. Glenelg have got 6. 6-8, Port Adelaide, 14-11. That's it at Football Park. Port Adelaide, 3 in a row, 4 in 5 years.
It's tremendous, Rob, to know that you've beaten every side by 8 or 9 goals in the finals, and they're a tremendous bunch. Geez, I'm so proud of them.
They won by so much too.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I'm just so proud that they've worked so hard during the year, and we've had a lot of flack, and they've had the courage to come back and be a real good finals team, Rob.
Congratulations, John.
Thanks
Great
very much.
What a great effort to Port Adelaide coach John Cahill. 3 successive premierships. Delighted captain Brian Cunningham hugs his coach Russell Ebert. Peter Marker, you would have to say best man on the ground, if not very close to it, but I thought he was.
Flip of a coin, I think, Ian, between Russell Ebert and Stephen Clifford, but I'd give it to Russell. I'd agree with you.
Ivan Ackerman, Greg Phillips, Greg Nat, Trevor Sorrell. He's the sad man, but he's happy for his teammates. As he said to us, he's part and parcel of the side, although he didn't play in the big one. He's one of the players who's worked hard to get Port Adelaide into the grand final during the year. And a team is certainly not just the 20 players that hit the turf on grand final day. Port Adelaide, a magnificent performance. Started very poorly at the beginning of the year. In fact, at one stage, they were written off by scribes as even a Final 5 site, but you never sell the Magpies short. And they've come home brilliantly in the latter part of the season, and really over the last 2 months they've never really looked like being pressed. Well, what do the losers think about Peter Marker?
Well, there are winners and there are losers, Ian, and unfortunately there are no second prizes in football. Neither should there be. Glenelg, the best performed team in the competition this year, with only 3 losses, fought their way back into contention last week, but under the relentless pressure of the Magpie defence and running players today, simply were not good enough.
Kim Kinnear, a very happy player. another top performer for Port Adelaide, John Halbert. Well, a disappointed coach. John has got them into the grand final, but unfortunately on the day they simply weren't good enough. And what more can you say when your side is beaten by 51 points? Ted McMahon, the head trainer of Sorrel, is the big broad back you can see on the screen. Andy Paul-Precia, Tony Giles, Tony Clifford, Russell Johnson, they're all down there. And it's a very excited Port Adelaide crowd. Tony Giles.
Mate. Thanks very much. It was a good one to win. We put a lot of time and effort into it and we got the results, so it was excellent.
You seem to be able to get away by yourself, early in the match especially, and you got that goal after the stoppage. I think that was a pretty important one.
Oh, all goals are important in grand final, as you know, and it was good that Mark Williams come back, and he's still a part of Port Adelaide, even though he's over in Cunningham, so it was a good result for him also.
Got to feel sorry for Trevor Sorrell, that's all.
Oh, of course I feel sorry for Trevor Sorrell. Same thing happened to Chrissy Nat the other year, but like I said, they're still a part of Port Adelaide, and they'll be there next year.
Great effort.
Thanks very much.
Good on you, Bomber. Thanks very much.
For the wonderful support that they have given us throughout this year, and also for today's game. You've been a wonderful lot of people, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I think that you must always remember that there are 10 teams in the league competition and only 2 can make the grand final. And undoubtedly, there can be no question but that Port Adelaide are the premier state of this side. However, we must always spare a thought for the vanquished. And I think the fact that Glenelg were top during the minor round and at the end of the minor round is worthy of some applause from you. Port Adelaide has been and always will be, obviously, a force in the competition in this state. And on your behalf, I congratulate them. It gives me a lot of pleasure to ask Brian Cunningham, the captain of Port Adelaide, to accept the Thomas Seymour Hill Cup. Brian Cunningham.
Thanks, Max. It might not have been the close game that everyone wanted, but gee whiz, that's the way we love to win them. Special thanks to a lot of people. I can't talk about them now, but especially one to this fella down here, this coach. He works harder than anyone I know. He's great. And a special thank you to all the supporters who stayed with us for all year. Thanks.
I'm sure you'll all like to hear from the architect of the victory, John Cahill.
Thanks very much, Max. To all the football supporters from all over South Australia, and particularly to Port Adelaide, we thank you very much for your support. I'm very proud of the boys over there. They've done a tremendous job this year, and thanks to you, the football public.
Well, a fantastic victory there to Port Adelaide. Of course, winning the premiership in...
There's a lot more things to football than really meets the eye. There are days when you could give it up. There are days when you could fly. Now we either love or hate it, depending on the score. But when the team run out or they kick a goal, how's the mighty roar? Up there, 'cause I'm in beat being there.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, thanks, David.
Magnificent.
Yeah, it was very good. I'm pleased. I really didn't expect to win so well, and their attack on the ball was good. Their teamwork was good, and I thought their discipline as far as taking the ball out of bounds was tremendous.
3 in a row.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Early in the season, John, there was, when you were 7th at one stage, there was
Yes.
a lot of speculation when they were going to make the 5.
Well,
and now you're premiers. You can't keep Port Adelaide down.
No, at the halfway mark we were 7th, but to their credit we just poured the work into them and they responded to hard work and to discipline, and I give them credit. And now, here we are, won a premiership because of it. So
you don't look as happy as you normally do.
Oh, I think like any grand final, David, it's the thrill of seeing other people enjoy themselves. I'm more tired than anything because I've put so much work into it. Hours and hours, particularly this week, and now I'm sort of elated that we've won, and I'll just sit back and watch other people enjoy themselves.
Congratulations from all the football public.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, John Cahill. Russell Ebert. Russell, magnificent. There have been some critics say, Russell, in past years that you can't fire in finals games. Well, if they were
Yeah, they've been right. Yeah, they know everything.
Magnificent game.
Oh, it was a good team game, and we had to win it. And we went on and won it, and it was just a team effort, and the pattern was set in the first quarter, and that was it.
It was a magnificent first quarter, 6 goals, 5, and it's hard for any side to get back from there. I guess your approach on the ball was so good that the defence so good, so strong, so fierce.
Well, that's the name of the game. You've got to set the pattern early, and most games, in tight games, you can tell almost the result 20 minutes into the game, because against Norwood, Glenelg had that real ferocious attack on the ball. They were knocking bodies aside, and today we realised we'd be in for a game, so we thought we'd set the pattern real early and see how they went.
3 in a row. Is there more to come?
Oh yeah, no reason
4?
to stop now.
5?
Yeah, why stop now?
Well done, Russell Ebert. Magnificent game. Let's see if we can go through here and get a few more of the players. Tim Evans, if I may. Tim. Bucky Cunningham, I'll get Tim in a moment. Before you get out, you got a little cut there?
Oh yeah, that's all right, don't worry about that.
Everything all right?
Beautiful, couldn't be better.
Bucky, it was a great win. Port Adelaide, I was just talking to Russell Ebert about the defence. I don't want to individualise, but they're so strong, and every time Glenelg went forward, they were just brushed aside.
Yeah, I reckon our young players really showed out well today. I think we owe a lot to them. I mean, they're experienced players, Russell, etc., they were brilliant, but the young players in their first grand final, they were tremendous.
Does this give you more joy than any of the others?
Oh, equal joy with all of them, I think.
Because you had to come do it the hard way this year, and that's most unusual for Port Adelaide.
A lot of people canned us early, and we had to fight back, and that was good. It was great.
Congratulations, you must be a very elated man at the moment.
Tremendous, thanks.
Tim Evans now, if I may. Timmy, congratulations.
Thanks
How
very
are
much.
you?
Oh, not bad.
That's more important.
Relaxing quite well now.
You didn't get the 100. You finished with 98.
Well, I wasn't interested in the 100 at all today. I was interested in that premiership, and that's the end result, and I'm very happy.
And you got that. And the intravenous feeder was out there in front of you? Bomber?
Oh, Bomber, yes. He can't shut a Bomber. He's always poking his head around somewhere. Oh, no, it was good. It's a great win, and 3 in a row. Well, you can't do much better than that.
Timmy, will you be with us for 4 in a row?
Well, I hope so. I'll be here next year, and I'll see what comes after that.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Craig Bradley, 17 years old, your first grand final. How does it feel now?
Magic, really magic.
Would you have thought at the beginning of the year that you've been playing in a premiership today?
No, it's just like a dream.
Where did you start at the beginning? Where did you start your football this year?
Started in the seconds.
In the seconds?
Came from the under-19, started in the seconds, and...
You actually played in the under-19s this year or not?
No. Fantastic.
I noticed that Kevin Sheedy, talking at half-time, had his eye on you, so I'd better be pretty wary, or John Cahill would be pretty wary, and make sure that Craig Bradley's with Port Adelaide for a long, long time.
Oh, no worries about that.
Congratulations.
Thanks
a magnificent game. Danny Hughes, another 17-year-older. Congratulations. Congratulations. How does it feel now?
Beautiful. Really beautiful.
David Darcy talking to many, many happy Port Adelaide players, and what a wonderful performance. Just repeating the final scores, Port Adelaide 14 goals 11 in the grand final of 1981, defeated the Tigers 6 goals 8. I walked outside the door a moment ago and there they were on sale for $1. Magpies 3 in a row, 79, 80 and 81. That's how confident they were, the Magpies 3 in a row. So either love them or hate them, certainly got tradition and certainly played well today. But just spare a thought, of course, for Glenelg. Wasn't a good performance today, but it certainly takes two to make a grand final. Hope you've enjoyed our national telecast.